You're live. Good evening. Hello and good evening. I hope, well, I see one person is here. Thank you for joining us on this very windy evening from not so sunny Saint-Tropez, Port Grimaud. It is absolutely atrocious weather here. I believe it's absolutely atrocious weather in lots of places in the world, but anyway, I don't know if anyone's here. We've got 3 minutes till the official start of this program, so if any of you are there, please say hello. Yes, we've got Claire Louise. Hello to you, Claire Louise. Can you hear me? Yes, and Keely and Paulie and Massey. Paula, sorry, not Paula Massey. Josie Muldowney and Claire and Andrea Bono. Yes, you hear us loud and clear. Our microphone is actually working very well. Well done to Angelo. He did very well with the microphone system. We got it working. So there we go. Enigma says hello to evening to you. And yes, I don't know if you've seen what our topics are for the evening, but yes, aeroplanes will be amongst them. What an absolute outrage. There we go. So before we begin, we've got a couple of minutes. Have any of you any questions? Please begin with a few questions whilst we wait for a few more people to come in. There's 28 of you have arrived already, and you're 2 minutes early. So well done to the 33 of you by now who are, 2 minutes early. Well done to you. Thank you. I look very fresh. Yes, I just swept back my hair. That's all I did. So there we go. I'm wearing this Bernard Weatherall item because it's absolutely bloody freezing here. You wouldn't think so in a place in the south of France, but there we go. So there we go. Weekend plans. We'll be seeing some friends who are arriving from the south of England, but they managed to get here in spite of the outrage at Heathrow. There we go. Did I watch Leaving Neverland? What did I think of Michael Jackson? I did not watch Leaving Neverland because I don't. My VPN doesn't work, so I can't watch English TV shows. I did meet Michael Jackson on one occasion in Woolton Place, Knightsbridge, at the home of a lady who was close to my family. I'm not going to name her because I don't want to bring her family into all of this. She allowed him to stay at her house because she was a friend of Mohammed Fayed. There we go. Another weird situation. And I got to spend some time with Bubbles, the monkey. So I met the monkey. I met Mr. Jackson for all of 1 second. I was more interested in the monkey because I thought the monkey, I love animals, as everyone knows, and I didn't think it was very nice that this monkey was being kept in this house, and I made a point of saying it, so I was kept well away from Mr. Jackson. But Mr. Jackson was a talented singer, talented performer, and he was terribly abused by his parents, but, like Ghislaine, people who are abused become abusers. That's what I would say. So I'm not a fan of Michael Jackson, to be frankly honest, but I only literally met him for literally a few seconds because I was more interested in the monkey. Everybody else in the house was more interested in him. And it was at a lunch party, and I was just a child, and I didn't really have much knowledge of what was going on. So there you go. That's my only interaction ever with Michael Jackson. I'm very glad that was my only interaction with Michael Jackson when I was that age, because many other people had interactions with Michael Jackson, and look how it ended up. He didn't have a clue what was right and what was wrong, but that does not take away from his brilliance as a performer. But he is like Gary Glitter, like Jimmy Savile. There's no excuse for it. Just because they're famous, they shouldn't be allowed to go around abusing other people. Sorry. I don't have any sympathy for abusers. I deal with so many people who are victims of abuse, people who have got no justice in their life, that I actually think that people like Michael Jackson stop lauding him, bigging him up, because what he did actually was monstrous. But his own father did it to him, so he didn't understand it. That is the excuse. But the excuse abuse, and we'll come to that with the Menendez brothers, because the Menendez were abused, and I'm going to talk about them and my campaign that I have run for over 10 years from Britain to help them, and all the wonderful people who've helped them. And we're finally getting there. The Menendez brothers will be free in 2025, in my view. And we'll come to that later. So there we go. Right. Your moderator is a trigger-happy killjoy, says Josie. I don't know what you mean. I'm very sorry. I don't know. I was abused by your moderator last night. I don't know who abused you, Josie. I have no idea. Sorry, absolutely no idea what you're talking about. So I'm very sorry. Can't answer your question on that one. Right. You claim she blocked you for no reason. I don't know. I've no idea. Did I see Michael Barrymore today complaining about tourists in Barcelona? I have not seen anything about Michael Barrymore complaining about tourists in Barcelona, but Michael Barrymore does not have the right to complain about a bus ticket. He should ram it up his jumper and bog off. The man is a complete pain in the proverbial. I'm not going to use the other word because it's inappropriate given what happened to the poor victim. Michael Barrymore should shut his face. Have I ever been to a Formula One race? Yes, I have. I've been to Silverstone. I've been to other racetracks. I've been. I've had wonderful times. It's very noisy, but it's a bit noisy for me. It's not really somewhere I'd want to spend much time because it's too loud. I don't like loud things like that. But it was entertaining to go for a couple of visits, and I had wonderful hospitality. And I once helped sponsor someone win a race at Silverstone. That's another story for another day, but that was a long, long time ago. It was an Indian clothing manufacturer who had a shop in Knightsbridge. And my friend was the driver, and he needed a sponsor at the last minute, and I got him a sponsor. So I helped him get a sponsor, and he won the race. So they were delighted. That was probably 2004, maybe. So that was a long time ago. But no, I love going to Silverstone. I've been there a few times. I've been to other racetracks, but I'm more into horses. Horses are a much more fascinating concept to me than cars on racetracks. I love cars. Cars are beautiful things, but to watch a horse win a race, wow. Some of the most fascinating stories in history involve horses in races. There's a wonderful book. I haven't got it with me, but I'll look up the title and I'll tell you tomorrow. Horse racing. The history of horse racing is far more interesting than the history of car racing to me. But that's just my personal opinion. I think everyone should enjoy whatever makes them happy. Hope you all have a lovely weekend watching whatever sport you love to watch. I wish I could access my Ladbrokes account because I love horse racing and I'm missing it very much. I miss being able to spend half an hour every morning just analysing a few races and thinking and placing some silly bets. In Cheltenham, my friend Max, the wonderful Max from Broadstairs, he got a few winners thanks to me. I didn't even place a bet. And he got the winners, 11 to 1, 20 to 1, and all the rest of it. Not me. I got 0. And it was my tip. Absolutely ridiculous, hey? There we go. Anyway, did you follow the Steve Avery case, making a murderer? Did I think he was guilty? I'm afraid, Becky, I don't know who Steve Avery and making a murderer case was. I've never heard of him. Perhaps you could enlighten me. Maybe you could send me some information. Editorial at thesteepletimes.com. Would be very interested to have a look, but I don't know the case of Steve Avery. Sorry, I'm perhaps ignorant, but that's not intentional. I just don't know who he is. Right, give us the tips. Well, if you want to get on my list of tips, once I can get my thing going, send me an email, editorial at thesteepletimes.com. I will add you to our list. We have about 200 and something people on our list for tips. I used to do them every day. The lockdowns, that was my favorite thing to do when horse racing was eventually allowed because of the miserable government. Thank God they did re-allow it. Right. Okay. Well, if any of you want to have horse racing tips, send me an email. We'll put you onto the database and you can have horse racing tips and it won't cost you a penny. Absolutely free. You can send me a bottle of whiskey or something if you win big. Several people won thousands courtesy of my tips. We've had a few 250 to 1 winners. Most of our winners are generally around about 18 to 1. But anyway, if you want to join in, of course, we have many that lose. You're never going to win every race. It's never going to happen. But I do each way bets generally, and that's what I recommend. And, I would normally choose 2 horses for a race. And that's the way I do it. And I choose from about 30 different sources that I look at. So I spend a bit of time on it, and it saves you the time to have to bother. And you can read and you can choose. And, some of the people choose by name. That's not the way forward, in my view. Choose by the ground, the track. I'm very particular about courses. Some courses are not worth bothering with. Some courses are fantastic. I prefer Newcastle to Exeter, for example. I like Brighton. There we go. Anyway, that's what I feel about horse racing. So if you wish to join, please send me an email, editorial at thesteepletimes.com, and we will add you to our list when I next decide to do a few horse racing tips, because at the moment I'm not really doing them, but I should get back into doing them. But it's a bit difficult until I have a friend coming tomorrow who is quite good with technology, and I hope he might know how to get my VPN working here, because without my VPN I can't even get into my betting account. So that doesn't help, because the betting account is very important to the tipping. So there we go. Is there any news on Michael Barrymore? Right. Well, Michael Barrymore has not bothered to respond. Keith Bishop has not bothered to respond. No. There we go. Have I ever been to Seville and Nottingham racetracks? Asks Daniel Wildgoose. I've been to Nottingham, but never Seville, but I'd like to go there. Have I been to Ayr? Yes, I've been to Ayr racetrack. Yes, I've been there. I like Cartmel very much. I like all sorts of obscure. Fontwell is a lovely racetrack to visit. I love racetracks, fabulous places to go. Plumpton, that's a really lovely racetrack in Sussex. Absolutely one of my favorites. I've had a wonderful picnic lunches there with friends, gone on the train, met them, and they, have a picnic out the back of their Range Rover or whatever they've got. And, Plumpton is lovely. Absolutely great place to go. I like this. I like the smaller ones. They're much more interesting to me because they're a bit obscure and a bit weird and a bit wacky, like me. There we go. So, have I ever worn a kilt? No, I don't wear a kilt because I'm not Scottish. That would not be an appropriate thing to do, Matt Grant. But if your name is Grant, so I would assume you're a Scot. I hope you've worn a kilt. But I can't wear a kilt because I'm not Scottish. So it would be a totally highly inappropriate thing to do, in my humble opinion. Right. Joan Stubbs signed a petition for you. Hope it's doing well. Lots of people have signed the petition. We'll come to the petition in a little while. But many people, you have to click links to make sure that your signature goes through. Make sure you follow the procedure because the city system is a very complicated system. There we go. We'll come to the petition later, Expialidocious. Right. It needs to do a little better. So please share and share widely. Jane Hennessy says hi to Lady Min. Well, Lady Min is being very quiet, but Jane Hennessy says hi.
Hello.
She says hello. That's as much as
Hello and hi.
Hello and hi. Right. Am I into campanology? I don't know what campanology is, Matt Grant. Sorry. Another weird question that I don't know. I'm sorry. What is campanology? Please explain. Keeley asks, are the horses treated well in racing? Horse racing is one of the finest sports on the planet, and horses are very, very well looked after by wonderful trainers and wonderful, wonderful staff. So, yes, I think they are. Yes, there are accidents from time to time, but yes, there are accidents in every kind of activity in the world. So, you're as likely to get run over by a bus as the poor horse is likely to die by hitting a fence. So, no, I don't think there's any cruelty in horse racing. It's not intentional. The people in the sport of horse racing love and adore the beautiful creatures. You know, it is the finest sport on the planet. They are treated with love and respect. There are, of course, people who slip up and there are people who behave badly. Yes, the Gordon Elliott incident where he sat on the dead horse with a picture and took a picture of himself on his mobile phone. Gordon Elliott is a disgrace, and I hate Gordon Elliott for what he did he brought shame on racing. Gordon Elliott is not a good man, and yes, he did his time for his penance, but I don't like Gordon Elliott, and nobody I know who's involved in horse racing likes Gordon Elliott. Gordon Elliott is not someone we like to associate with, but Gordon Elliott is an incredibly successful trainer, and he didn't really apologize, and I don't think that was acceptable. But of course, you're going to get the rotten fish in any business, or any sport, and that's what happens. And that man, I think, should have been given a far harsher sentence. There are others who've behaved badly, but most people are wonderful people. The wonderful Lucinda Russell and, all those kind of people like her. Absolutely lovely people. They care for their animals and they love them, and everyone cares about the horses. So, no, I don't think most people are bad in horse racing, no. Right. You don't like the mad woman who punched a horse. That was to do with fox hunting. That's a totally different matter. It's nothing to do with horse racing. There was a mad woman who punched a horse. She's totally disgusting. She should have been put in jail. Disgusting. You don't get around punching a horse and get away with it. Wouldn't you agree, Lady Min?
Absolutely.
The woman was sick and she was videoed punching the horse. That is an absolutely abhorrent thing to do. And I think she was some Welsh hunt or something. She punched the horse in the face because it wasn't doing what she wanted. So she punched it. She is a piece of filth and she should be prosecuted with the full extent of the law. Wouldn't you agree?
She should be kicked by her horse.
Well, the poor horse was hopefully taken away from her. And today there was a man who was on Love Island. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I did think about talking about this, but I will talk about it. I can't remember his name. Jack somebody or other, his name is Fincham or something. He had a dog, and this dog went around mauling people, and he did nothing to stop it. And he got a fine, and then he got into trouble over cocaine driving cars, and then the dog mauled somebody else, and he avoided jail today. Now, shame on the British justice system. Throw the book at people like him. Because dogs, it's not the dog that commits the crime, it's the owner that allows the dog to behave like that. You control your animal. You do not encourage animals to go around attacking people. And he went, my dog is my best friend. Well, who gives a bloody damn about you and your best friend dog if it's going around biting people and behaving like that? Your dog is out of control. And the reason the dog is out of control is not the dog. The dog is not out of control. You are out of control for not controlling the dog. Dogs can be kept in order. And this man hasn't done that. Why is he allowed to keep this dog? And he went, my dog is my best friend. He's a complete twerp. I can't remember his full name. I think he's called Jack Fincham, but I may be completely wrong. But I read an article about him this afternoon, and I thought about talking about him, but he didn't reach the topic list because I think I've got other topics to talk about. But anyway, tell me if you know of who this man is. He was on Love Island. Load of rubbish. Another load of old twaddle. There we go. So Gordon Elliott's a jerk. Yes, I totally agree. My father and I don't like Gordon Elliott. Gordon Elliott is one of the worst horse trainers in history for what he did, sitting on a dead horse with a mobile phone, taking pictures of it, and then sharing it on the internet. That's disgraceful. That's disrespectful to what a beautiful animal that worked hard to make him bloody rich. Shame on Gordon Elliott. He's a jerk. Yes, I totally agree with you, Eddie. You've said it completely right. I don't like Gordon Elliott. I don't know anybody in horse racing who actually does like Gordon Elliott. But Gordon Elliott, unfortunately, keeps winning. Gordon Elliott is a very successful racing trainer, but he wasn't sanctioned enough. No. She should have been put in jail. The woman who hit the horse, says Matt Grant. Yes, I totally agree with you. She should have been. She was filmed punching a horse in its face. That's not a nice, that's a totally disgusting thing to do. And she should never be allowed. She should be banned from owning animals ever again. Ban her. I can't remember who she is. We'll have to look her up. She's one for another day. Let's bring her up again. Let's look into her history. Let's name and shame her. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
She needs to be brought to justice. She's a shameful piece of toe rag. Awful woman. Right. You couldn't taste any difference in Yorkshire tea from PG Tips. Right. Well, I'm very sorry. We don't agree with you. I do not like PG Tips. Disgusting. Horrible.
I love it.
No, we love Yorkshire tea. I don't need any shouting in the background about that. Yorkshire tea is the best tea on the planet, not PG Tips. PG Tips is like drinking dust. It's disgusting. It's absolutely filthy, awful. Do I like Jason Donovan? Someone I know once allegedly had a relationship with Jason Donovan, but I'll save that story for another day. Jason Donovan, no, I don't know him personally, but there we go. Becky likes Thai food tea. Not for me. Have I met Lionel Blair? No, I've never met Lionel Blair. No, never met him. I don't know anything about Lionel Blair other than who he is, his name. You want the gossip now. Right. There we go. What gossip do you want? Have I ever met Shirley Bassey? I have met Shirley Bassey via my lovely friend, Liz Brewer, who is her agent. Mrs. Brewer is a wonderful lady. She's currently in Turnberry. She was messaging me only yesterday. Yep, no, her and she calls her the Dame, and the Dame is a nice lady. Yes, I don't know her. I don't know her personally very well, but yeah, a great success story, an absolutely amazing lady from Wales who made herself into a success. Well done to Shirley Bassey. Amazing voice, precisely. You like Glen Getty tea? It's strong, a Welsh tea, very similar to Yorkshire. I've never tried Glen Getty tea. I don't know what it is. Never heard of it. I didn't know they could grow tea in Wales, but well, I didn't know they could grow tea in Yorkshire either. But it's just a blend in Yorkshire. There's a blend of at least 20 different teas in Yorkshire tea. So Yorkshire tea is a wonderful blend, and it's just a blend that I like because it's nice and strong. I normally have 2 tea bags because I think it tastes better with 2. Lady Min doesn't like it unless it's incredibly weak. There we go. Have I ever met Cliff Richard? Sadly, yes. He's one of the most obnoxious pieces of rubbish I've ever met. He's so pompous. He sticks his own microphone up his whatever. He's a creep. Have I ever met Sean Connery? No, I never met Sean Connery. Sadly, it would have been lovely to have met Sean Connery. I think he's quite a nice, decent gentleman. Highgrove tea is quite nice, says Linda Joe. I've never tried tea from Highgrove, but you know, King Charles has very good taste, so I'm sure it's lovely. Is there any news on Fergie? Fergie is not quite on this loose women yet, is she? But she wanted her $3,000 a day, but when she starts, God only knows. It will be awful. Shirley is from Tiger Bay in Cardiff, says Nicola. She now lives in Monaco. Well, yes, that's completely correct. She does live in Monaco. Who is my favorite comedian? I would say living Catherine Tate. It's a great shame we don't have her wonderful program anymore. Catherine Tate was so fabulous, but of course, political correctness wouldn't have that. And I did always love Patricia Routledge in Keeping Up Appearances, which I don't know if you could call a comedy, but it was a comedy in my view. It was a comedy of errors. Have I tried Rooibos tea? Asks Vazzy. I cannot stand the stuff. It's disgusting. It's revolting. It tastes horrible. Awful. Do I like Roy Chubby Brown? I don't think so. No, not my kind of thing. Catherine Tate is funny. Yes, I think you're quite right. Did I like Little Britain? Asks Matt. Yes, absolutely brilliant. Wouldn't be allowed now. Again, all these things cancelled. What a great shame. I hate cancel culture. I hate woke. I hate all of that, as you all know. Cannot stand it. You like Peep Show. I wasn't really into that. Green tea makes you feel sick. I don't mind a cup of green tea now and again. I like chamomile tea as well. I drink all sorts of tea. I'll have Earl Grey. I love all, but as long as it's good quality, because you don't want dust. And that's what all this PG tips and all this kind of rubbish, cheap, crappy tea is. It's just dust. It's the leftovers. You don't want the leftovers. I've learned a lot about tea over the years, and I like very good tea because I drink a lot of tea. I drink at least 3 or 4 cups of tea every morning because it's what gets me going in the day. You loved Ken Dodd. I never met Ken Dodd, but of course, George Carmen represented him, and I recently was meant to do a program with the lady who was involved with his lawyer, and it didn't happen, but I read the book and I learned a lot about their relationship, and Ken Dodd was a very interesting character for sure. Right. Do I drink loose leaf tea? Yes, I do sometimes, but at the moment I'm just drinking Yorkshire tea because that's all I've got. And I haven't even got a tea strainer, so I can't do that. You like Come Fly With Me? It was brilliant. I remember that thing, but I don't remember it well. Victoria Wood, yes, she was absolutely wonderful. Victoria Wood was a national treasure, a fabulous lady, brilliant comedian. You know, Is It on the Trolley? Absolutely wonderful. I don't know who Dave Allen. Dave Allen, I didn't know him, so I don't know who he is. I'm sorry. I do apologise. Beat me on my bottom with a woman's weekly. Yes, says Miss Marple. That was a famous line of Victoria Wood. Yes. Do I like reality shows on television? I don't really watch television. I listen to The Archers. I'm sorry. I like The Archers and I like Radio 4. I haven't watched a television program in maybe 2 months. So no, I haven't watched a single television program in 2 months. Acorn Antiques. Yes, of course, that was another great Victoria Wood program. Who will go, Clary or Susan in The Archers? Ooh, the debate. Well, I don't know what's happened in the most few episodes, so don't you give me a spoiler. Don't you ruin my listening, because I haven't listened for 3 or 4 days because I've been made to go off on little expeditions here, there, and everywhere. So I've not had time in the morning to listen to The Archers. So I don't know quite what's going on. I'm a bit behind. I may have to listen later tonight, which I probably will, because it's about time I caught up with my Archers, because I love The Archers. Who will go, Clary or Susan? Well, one of them's going to have to quit because they're both very strange people in their own ways. But which one will go? Right. Am I a fan of Eurovision? Nope, not interested in that. Have I ever watched Still Game? I don't know what Still Game is. Have I ever watched One Foot in the Grave? I didn't like One Foot in the Grave. No, it wasn't my kind of humor. Thought it was boring. Still Game is a Scottish thing. It's very funny. Okay, I've never heard of it, but anyway, there we are. Right, so there's 88 of you here. Well done. Welcome to you all. Right, Love Thy Neighbor. Don't know it. I don't believe it. Yes, that was Victor Meldrew. Yes, he was funny. Did I like Father Ted? No, not my kind of thing. Did I see Garth Margeris Dark Place on Channel 4? No, never heard of that. It was in the 1970s. Well, I was born in 1981, so I suppose that's probably why I didn't see it. That will explain the reason I don't know what that is. So I've never heard of that. Right. Only Fools and Horses. Oh, yes. Oh, I loved Only Fools and Horses, and I was great friends with John Challis, who, of course, played Boise. Lovely man, absolutely great actor, and his lovely wife, absolutely great people. And, they did a sequel at their country house in the countryside, and they were absolutely lovely. They're lovely people. I'm sorry he died, but he was a lovely man. Did I like Ab Fab? Oh yes, that was great, and that was based on a lady who I used to see at PJ's in Chelsea, Lynn Franks. She was the PR woman that Absolutely Fabulous was based upon. And Lynn is a very enjoyable lady to spend time with. She's a very boisterous character, just like Joanna Lumley, who also is a lovely lady to spend time with. I've met Joanna on occasions, and she is great fun. I think I even have something to talk about Joanna Lumley later. But Joanna Lumley and Lynn Franks, well, a PR lady who inspired that show. What a great thing. The Two Ronnies. Well, the Two Ronnies, of course, was associated with Broadstairs because it was all to do with the two the candles. Yeah. So the local hardware shop, and Ronnie Barker had a house right on the front in Broadstairs. So the comedy sketch about the candles was all based upon Broadstairs. Now I don't know any of the people involved in it because obviously it was a long time ago. What do I think of Tales of the Unexpected? Well, Tales of the Unexpected is one of my very, very most wonderful things to spend time watching. When I was in Broadstairs, I used to watch 2 every morning because it would come on at 9 o'clock in the morning and it would come on at 5 o'clock at night. It was the same thing. And there are 110, I think, Tales of the Unexpected by Roald Dahl. And it's such a wonderful mixture of stories. And, I love the spinning carousel as you go in and the music. I love everything about the weird stories and the way they were written by Roald Dahl. Absolutely fabulous. Everybody from Julian Fellows to Joan Collins, all sorts of weird and strange stories. The time the husband was fed by the wife to the police officers and all the rest of it, weird stories and absolutely the best. The Tales of the Unexpected. If you haven't ever watched Tales of the Unexpected, I think they're on what's called Yesterday Sky Arts or something. It's one of those two. I don't know. I can't remember because I haven't watched television in months. But it's on one of those things. But if you can watch them, I've probably managed to watch about 30 or 40 of them. They are the best. Tales of the Unexpected. They're only 30 minutes long, but they're very, very good. The Royal Jelly, yes. Yes. What is your... Okay, I'll ask you all a question. What is your favorite Tales of the Unexpected? You loved the Royal Jelly one, which was to do with the bees. Yes. There we go. Bobby Ewing was yummy, says Expialidocious. I don't think Bobby Ewing was in Tales of the Unexpected, but Count Arthur Strong. Well, behind me is a storm, and it's coming in fast, and it's getting more and more noisy. We're 38 minutes in now, and we haven't even begun on a topic, but there we are. It's very nice answering your questions, so I don't mind answering. Batten down the hatches. Do I watch Black Mirror? I don't know what Black Mirror is. As for Dallas, that was a long time ago. I didn't really watch that because I was a child when that was on, but I know about the plot of it, obviously, and the sequels that were made and all the rest. Inspector Morse. Well, of course, Inspector Morse I'm a little bit of a geek on because I loved Barrington Furlong, who wrote the music. and the music was the clues to every bit of the story. So, the Morse code was very important. And Colin Dexter wrote the most wonderful books. I've read all the books. I love the books actually more than the programs. But John Ford was such a wonderful actor as Inspector Morse. I didn't like all those silly sequels, those stupid Lewis and all of that. They were a bit tame for me. They were just try hard extras. No, not for me. Jonathan Creek was very unique. Well, it was unique, but I thought it was uniquely awful. Wasn't for me. But anyway, each to their own. Have I watched Uncle Buck read John Candy? I can't say I have. No. Did I watch Raffles with Anthony Valentine? No, I didn't. But you loved the old carry-ons. A bit gauche for me. That Barbara Windsor woman, I wasn't a great fan of her. I once had to have dinner with her, and all she did was cackle like a hyena for the whole dinner. Wasn't very impressed by her. Fawlty Towers. John Cleese is a very amusing man, but it wasn't my favorite thing either. No, not for me. Cadfael. No, didn't like that one bit. No. Right, there we go. Dad's Army. I used to watch that with my grandfather, and he loved it. And I just sat there thinking, why am I watching this? I didn't really like it. Wasn't for me. But we can't all like the same thing. If we all like the same thing, the world is boring. But I'm very particular about what I like, and I don't want to waste my time on things. I'd rather listen to the radio and learn something about science or history or something than some nonsense. Yes, Minister. Elements of humor there, but it wasn't my favorite. Hello. Well, of course, my friend Carol Ashby was in Hello. I used to watch that with my grandparents again. They thought it was incredibly funny. I thought it was a bit. There we go. Murder, She Wrote. My lovely godmother, Barbara Minto, absolutely loved Murder, She Wrote. She's obsessed with it. It's her favorite thing. And, the actress who's in it, who's still alive and still was performing until recently in London. And I can't remember what play she was in. She's a brilliant actress. But again, not for me. No, thank you. The Love Boat. No, definitely not. Awful. Monty Python. Yep, humor. Great humor. Not really something I wanted to watch. Columbo. No, not interested. The Young Ones. No. Last of the Summer Wine. Oh, I did like Last of the Summer Wine. I loved Compo because he had ferrets, and I love a ferret. So I wish I'd had a ferret as a child, and I'll tell you the story of why I didn't have a ferret another day. But I liked Last of the Summer Wine, and I used to go to Home Firth in Yorkshire, which has now got a vineyard. One of our quiz questions recently. Yes, I loved The Last of the Summer Wine. Nora Batty and all those other strange old people running around. I thought that was great humor. A bit like, not quite as good as Keeping Up Appearances, Hyacinth Bucket, the wonderful Patricia Routledge, but it's up there, quite good. I liked it, like that kind of thing. Did I like Blackadder? Yes. Rowan Atkinson, very amusing. Right. You can't just like a sitcom because the character has a ferret, says Mr. Lee Kicker. Well, Mr. Lee Kicker, I can, and I do. So there you go. I'm not going to apologize for my opinions. My opinions are mine. Your opinions are yours. And I like you very much, Mr. Lee Kicker. You're a wonderful man and you're lovely, but I'm not changing mine. Did I like The Good Life? Well, we're going to come to The Good Life because we're going to talk about Russell Brand upsetting Penelope Keith. Well, not upsetting her, but talking a load of rubbish about her. Right. Anyway, am I a fan of Caribbean food? I do like a bit of Caribbean food. I've had some very nice Caribbean food cooked for me over the years. Lovely. I love Indian food more than anything. I wish I could have some Indian food. There's never any of that here. The Chinese food here is very lacking, and I love Chinese food. I like all sorts of different varieties of food, and I'm very happy to eat all sorts of different things. I love French food. It's very nice. There's lots of good things that they do make, but they could have a bit more variety here, and it would be nice to have something with a bit more spice. I'm missing out on spice, and I love spice, and spice is the variety of life. So there we go. Did I like The Good Life? Yes, it was good. George and Mildred. I don't know the program. I've heard of it, but I don't know it. Right. Do I like l'escargot? No, because I once had some bad ones that had soil in them. Horrible. Put me off the things for life. I like oysters, but I don't like snails. No, I won't eat snails. Is it true that the French eat horse meat? Well, they do, yes, but I won't. I hopefully won't be eating any horse meat, because I would be very upset if anyone served me such. There we go. Right, so we're at 46 minutes. Right. I think it's time to talk to you about a couple of topics. So we shall begin with the topic of, well, which one shall I begin with? Well, we'll begin with the Heathrow outrage, because it's quite unacceptable. The Heathrow outrage. The fire at the North Hyde substation at Heathrow. How on earth did this happen? How on earth could this be allowed to happen? That an entire airport that has 1,300 flights per day going in and out of it can be stopped because of a fire at some small substation called the North Hyde substation. What a load of nonsense. Why was there no backup plan? What is wrong with this? What do you think about this? I'd love to have your opinions. So please send me your opinions about what you think about this thing. Was it a terror attack? Which is what many people are now alleging. Was it just an accident? Was it just stupidity? Or was it the government trying to lock down the country, which is what other people are alleging? All these many theories are out there. There's so many theories. A flight takes off, according to Ron M., every 45 seconds at Heathrow. Heathrow was taken down because of a fire. I'm not buying it, says Shirley T. Right. Yes. So, Heathrow used to have diesel generators. They were reliable. They swapped them for net zero biomass system. It was unveiled at Terminal 2 in 2012, a 10 megawatt beacon of sustainability, cutting 13,000 tons of CO2 per year. It was lauded as the UK's largest own use renewable setup. In 2023, they added all these solar panels, electric vehicles, Well, Why? Why not keep both? Why not keep the diesel as well, just as a backup? You should have a multiple backup if you're running an airport that's one of the busiest airports in the world. What is wrong with these people? It's a bit strange, isn't it? Says Nicola Crompton. Well, Nicola, I think you could be right. It was Matt Miliband's idea, says Jack Smith. I'll come to him. Rocket Ronnie blames Putin. We'll come to him. Right. Anyway, you're all giving various theories. As was said by somebody, diesel kicks in within seconds. Biomass dawdles. It takes a long time for the biomass system to work. It is a farce, said James Melville, the campaigner, who's a very big person on Twitter, who I follow. He's a very big farming campaigner, amongst other things. This is the green darling that couldn't cope, precisely. I totally agree with him. If the backup takes hours to fire up, it isn't a backup, said someone else. Many people got very, very angry. They said Starmer must go in capital letters. Clearly a win for Ed Miliband. Mr. Net Zero. Great, well done, Ed Miliband. You proved to be a total waste of space. Now, who should face the music and have the last dance? Mr. Miliband. This is just the publicity, says another, that not zero, net zero. This is just the publicity that not zero needs, said another. This is not zero. This is a completely stupid state of affairs that has been mismanaged by a useless government. Wouldn't you agree? People want an investigation, and counter-terrorism police are looking at it. Sabotage, Putin, foul play. The Met Police claim there is no indication of such. Well, we will see, but I don't know what's going on here. But whatever it is, I would say it's more likely incompetence. Now, someone I used to have dinner with at the Carlton Club in St. James's, who runs the Henry Jackson Society, Dr. Alan Mendoza. I haven't seen him in many, many years, probably since 2002. He says, today's situation at Heathrow shows Britain's cracking critical national infrastructure problem. He is completely right. The country is not prepared for anything. The country is a crackpot load of crap. This country needs to wake up, Britain. I'm not sitting in Britain right now, but I'm talking about Britain because I am British. So there we go. It is a total disgrace. Precisely, says Nicola. Yes, says Jack Smith. No nut zeros, says Eva Angel. And there's more and more of you coming in. Yes, fires like everything in those days with lithium batteries. Just look at those stupid people who go around on those stupid scooters. What are they powered by? Those stupid batteries. Anyone who relies on those stupid batteries is going to end up in trouble. Let's go back to a traditional way of powering things because you need some reliability. A friend of mine, a German lady who's not very well, she texted me today. She said, there'll be more outrages of this type and the power will go down. And okay, I'm no grand conspiracy theorist, and I'm going to come to a silly conspiracy theorist in a moment. She said, make sure you have some candles around you because things will go out. Putin is causing trouble in the world and he doesn't like us. So we've got to be careful of that. So be prepared. I'm not saying stockpile or be silly. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not Conspiracy Jeff from Broadstairs, who was a complete pain in the arse, a stupid man who thought the phone masts were going to kill everybody and you have to stockpile food. But always have a few candles in your house and a box of matches, because there will come there are occasions when things don't work. I had it twice whilst I lived in Broadstairs, where the power went out for 24 hours. So I had to use matches and things, and I had them. Just make sure you have a few of those things just in case. But it's not about being the world's coming to get you. No one's coming to get you. You don't need to panic about that. I don't think it's that bad. But anyway, that's that. So there will be a massive fire one day in the Channel Tunnel with an electric vehicle, says Miss Marple. Well, having been on the Channel Tunnel in a car, it doesn't last 20. It lasts 20 minutes, and then if there is a fire, you move into a tunnel in the middle. So there is a way out. I don't know if there has been a fire on it, but I felt perfectly safe on the Channel Tunnel. You think Ron M thinks lithium batteries are important? Well, they are until they go wrong. Right. Linda Jo rightly says, in my view, old ideas are often useful. I totally agree with you. A candle, having a few candles in your house and a box of matches is no bad thing. And having a bag of coal if you've got a fireplace so you can light a fire. Then you can keep yourself warm if the heating goes off. If there's no other way of firing up the boiler because the oil's run out. Precisely. I totally agree with you. Right. Phone masts are dangerous. If you're a flying pollock, says Mr. Lee Kicker. I think you're making a joke, but there we go. Right. Linda Jo says, Mr. Order has been living in luxury, private jets everywhere. Are you talking about Lindsay Hoyle, or are we talking about the previous one? Because both of them were very extravagant, the speakers of the House of Commons. So I don't know which one you're on about, but I assume you're talking about the current one, but there we go. Okay. Lindsay Hoyle, they're all at it. Yes. Well, Lindsay Hoyle should be ashamed of himself. I don't know Mr. Lindsay Hoyle. I've never, or whatever. Is he called Sir Lindsay Hoyle? Probably is. I don't know him, never met him, never encountered him, don't know. He's the MP for Chorley. I know Chorley very well. I used to spend a lot of time in Chorley because a friend of my father's, who was a very big racehorse man, happened to live in Chorley. So good old Chorley, Lancashire. Nice place. So, yeah. That's all I can tell you about Lindsay Hoyle. I don't know anything else. There we go. Jane Hennessy likes Chorley cakes. I don't know what a Chorley cake is. I've never tried one. Is it like an Eccles cake? Because that's also from the same region. I don't like Eccles cakes. I think they are disgusting. I used to call them, because my grandparents used to give me these things. I called them fly pies because the currants reminded me of like crushed up flies. I didn't like Eccles cakes. Ugh. Grim. One of the grimmest things I've ever encountered is an Eccles cake. I hope never, ever to have an Eccles cake put in front of me ever again, because I'll just throw it in the bin. Awful, awful thing. I'm sure many people love Eccles cakes, but I definitely don't. I'm very particular about what I like. And today we went to a restaurant and we had their attempt at tiramisu. I have never seen anything so bad. It was pure slop. And Lady Min will agree. It was literally like slop on a plate because they didn't have any biscuit in it or any kind of layering. It was just cream thrown on top of a bit of whatever it was. There was no layering. Tiramisu should be layered. I've never seen anything so bad. It was the worst tiramisu I've ever seen in my life. It's not the fault of them, because they clearly don't have a clue what they're doing, but it was shocking. So we won't be eating that again. But it's amazing how people can get things so right, and some people get things so wrong. But I celebrate the people who get things right. But no, an Eccles cake, ew. No thanks. Never, ever, 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 ever again. Eccles cakes are the worst thing. Eccles is a place in Lancashire as well.
Custard.
Do I like Kendal mint cake? Well, we brought up Kendal mint cake in our quiz the other day. Kendal mint cake is very useful if you're a mountaineer. It's a bit too sweet for me, but that is why it's purposely sweet, is because the man who made it just happened to not make his other recipe correctly, so it all just melted down into this sugary concoction. And of course Shackleton and all the others took it on an expedition and it became famous. So yep, it's wonderful if you're on an expedition, but it's far too sweet for me. I'm not a big fan of Kendal mint cake. Couldn't eat much of that. I like Toblerone. I love Toblerone, which has nothing to do with mountains, really, has it? Just shaped like a mountain. But there we go. The mountaineers love the Kendal mint cake, and I love the Toblerone. I shall have to ask Sir Chris Bonington what he thinks of Toblerone versus Kendal mint cake, given he lives in the Lake District also. So maybe he has an opinion. I shall send Loretto, his wife, a message asking that. I shall write that down right now. Ask her what she thinks. Kendal mint cake. Yes. Loretto. I will ask Loretto what she thinks, what he thinks, and we'll come back to you with an opinion on what is the better thing to take up a mountain. Is it Toblerone or Kendal mint cake? That could be a useful piece of information from a brilliant mountaineer who's climbed Everest a few times, who is a lovely man and absolutely fabulous. Jane Hennessy loves Eccles cakes. Oh, well, someone has to love them, Jane. So I'm glad you love them, because I certainly loathe them. There is one thing I loathe more. It's the horrible, disgusting pastry. And then that disgusting mound of things that resemble dead flies. I called it the fly pie. I couldn't stand it. Every time it was put. Have I ever spoken to Brian Blessed? No, I haven't spoken to Brian Blessed, but I think he's a wonderful actor. Absolutely great, but I don't know Brian Blessed. Have I ever met Shakin Stevens? No, I haven't. Which thing from Kendal do you dislike the most, mint cake or David Starkey? It's very easy there. And my father will agree with me. We really dislike David Starkey. David Starkey is one of the most awful, awful, awful things. He is a snotty, snobby, fake, pathetic man. He was the son of a cobbler from Kendal, and that fake accent he puts on, he's just a complete fraudster. The man is gross. He's grim. He is awful. There is nothing redeeming about David Starkey. He thinks that he knows everything about bloody fucking everything. He should ram it up his bloody jumper. He should rod off. He shouldn't need to bog off. He needs to rod off. He's disgusting, but he'd probably enjoy that given his, Anyway, I won't go into that because I'll get banned from this channel. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, I should not have made a comment about people's sexuality. There we go. Anyway, I just cannot stand that awful, ghastly, horrible, snotty, snobby, creepy man. He is horrible. He thinks that he's above everybody else. He thinks that he's the historian par general. He's just a pain in the whatever. I can't say that because that would offend people, given his sexuality. Yet again, right. So no. I would rather have Kendall mint cake than David Starkey. Yes, any day of the week. And I think most people in the world would. Who on earth wants to have the company of him? And my father cannot stand David Starkey. David Starkey is just a pompous piece of rubbish. He's awful. Absolutely nobody. He thinks he's so above everybody else. And he was rightly removed by lots of things after the rude things he said about other people. He's gross. He's grim. He's grimmer than grim. And he's awful. Get him out of here. Don't like him. Right, next question. He's a racist. Yes, I totally agree with you. He's a bigot. Yep, totally agree. Awful. Absolutely appalling. Right. Does anyone else like David Starkey? Okay, that's my question back at you. Jane Hennessy agrees with me 100%. I can't stand David Starkey. There we go. No, nobody likes David Starkey. Awful man. You like hot crumpets with butter? Well, I like a hot crumpet with a butter. I totally agree, but you've got to toast it for quite long enough, and you've got to make sure the butter melts fully into it. Otherwise, it doesn't taste very nice. It's got to be done properly. Have I got a view on Lucy Letby? Okay. Right, here we go. Lucy bloody Letby. Well, right. Lucy Letby. Well, we might save her for another day in more full detail, but what I'll say to you is this. Lucy Letby is playing a very clever little game to manipulate all sorts of very well-known people who are very stupid into supporting her. Because a few moronic famous people began by thinking, oh, well, we can make ourselves more famous by supporting her. So they have been manipulated by the ones that started off. And this David Davis is the worst of the lot. And this Nadine Dorries, two stupid conservative people. Seriously. You are doing harm to the poor families of parents whose children died for no reason. And Lucy Letby has been convicted of murdering those children. You, as politicians, should keep your oar out. Keep away and leave the justice system. These families need to grieve. They have had a conviction for this woman, this disgusting piece of filth who murdered babies. and you have stirred the pot, and you have let these poor families have to endure yet more misery because of Lucy Letby is innocent. I'm sorry, Lucy Letby. The only reason all you people who think she's innocent is innocent. If she were black or she were Pakistani, and again, I'm probably going to get banned for saying this, or she were purple or a whatever, you would say, oh, yeah, definitely guilty. But because she's a blonde, white girl, middle-class daughter of these two fat, ugly, horrible people, and they look very horrible to me. I think I don't know why you're all so supportive of this ghastly-looking pair. They look like a right pair of old toe rags. Anyway, you all say, oh, she has to be innocent because she's a nice blonde girl. She could never do that. For goodness sakes, think like Agatha Christie. It's always the one you don't expect that commits the murder. Someone like that, she did it without a doubt. Wouldn't you agree, Lady Min? Lucy Letby.
Horrible.
She's a horrible, bad person, and all these people apologizing for her are doing it because they're going, oh, well, nice middle-class, blonde-haired girl. She couldn't be a murderer. But if they saw a Pakistani person, they'd go, oh, yes, of course he did it. That's how people behave. This girl is being supported purely for one reason, because she's got blonde hair and she's middle class. It's disgusting. She is as guilty as sin. And if she gets off, I will not change my mind. I will continue to say I don't believe that she's innocent. I'm sorry. Those poor families have endured enough. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
The families deserve justice. It's a bit like Michael Barrymore and Stuart Lubbock. We want justice for the families. And those families have already said, we do not want more misery piled upon us. Leave us alone. This woman has been convicted. This is not a case that I will be supporting. And people have bombarded me saying, oh, change your mind. You should support her. Why would I support that revolting, horrible woman? What has she done that's good? She wrote notes saying, I did it. She wrote notes. I'm sorry. If you're an innocent person, why would you do such? Her letters are deranged, perhaps. But there's something very odd. And my friend from the Daily Mail and we have a theory about her parents. There's something very odd about those two. What are their connections with this whole matter? Who are their powerful connections? Why are they able to get the pot stirred in this way so quickly? Jeremy Bamber has been rotting in prison for years. And Jeremy Bamber, the Heidi Blake article is a very interesting article that proves that Jeremy Bamber really is very unlikely to be the killer in that case. He's been rotting in prison for 40 years. She gets her hearing within 15 bloody minutes. What is wrong with the system that allows her, blondie, middle class, little, Mrs. Nicer Than Nice looking person to get a hearing ahead of him, who's, a bit dysfunctional because, he was adopted and, he had, all sorts of other things going on that were rich people and they didn't like him because of that and all the rest. She gets a hearing within 15 minutes with the CCRC. Why? And I criticized the Jeremy Bamber campaign people because I said, don't link yourself with them. Don't. And I really will say it again to them. I'm not criticizing them for linking to it, but they mention it. I say, don't please link yourself to that, because I think Jeremy Bamber actually deserves a fair and wonderful hearing, because he is somebody who really has been wronged by the system, because the evidence is completely tainted and it needs to be reviewed. In her case, this manipulative bitch murdered. She murdered babies. She murdered at least 7 babies, maybe more, probably many more. And now all these people come out and go, oh, Lucy needs, we need to help her, help Lucy. Oh, for God's sake. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Lucy Letby is a shameless, disgusting woman, and she wrote, I did this. She wrote, she wrote many notes about what she did. So why are you, stupid David Davis, you moron Nadine Dorries, and you really are a bog off piece of rubbish. I really can't stand you, and I know of you, and you're awful. David Davis, well, I have met you, but I think you're just trying to reinvent yourself. You're a prat. You're a pillock, and you're a complete disgrace, both of you, and all you others, and that awful Hitchens, man. Shame on you. This woman, if you get her off, I still won't believe she's innocent, because there's no way. This woman has destroyed those people's lives, and she wrote it down. So why would she write it down if she didn't do it? There we go. There is not one shred of evidence against Bamber, says Shirley T. I would say there are. Yes. Mr. Lee Kicker says 14 babies died. She was on shift for 7. Claire Louise says it makes me feel physically sick. Some of you are blaming the sewerage in the hospital. Well, I don't agree with you. Well, Beck says they're questioning the fairness of the trial. They're not saying she's innocent. Jules B says that the diary was twisted. No, I don't agree with you. I really don't agree with any of this nonsense. This woman, well, she's not a woman. She's scum. She's filth of the earth. What she did to those poor families. Her notes were not an admission, says Ron M. So I'm getting lots of you attacking me, of course. Well, I knew this would happen the minute I mentioned Lucy Letby. Claire Louise rightly says she's guilty. I agree with Claire Louise. Look, you're all entitled to your opinions, but my view is very clear, and I've made it very clear. I'm going to make it very clear again. I think that Lucy Letby is one of the worst stains on humanity ever to have existed on this planet. And I think her parents are a pair of freaks and a pair of fruitcakes. And I think they're all ghastly. And I think they should leave those poor families to grieve in peace. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Yes, I'm getting agreement in the background. No, I agree that some of you read this nonsense that's presented to you and you think that it's worthwhile to even engage with it. But I'm sorry, the families of the dead children want to be left in peace. They have repeatedly said this. They are sick of this woman and the revolting Nadine Dorries and the revolting David Davis and Peter Hitchens pestering them with all this crap. Leave the families to grieve in peace. Sewage has been ruled out, as Violet says, precisely. It wasn't down to sewage. This woman wrote everything down that what she did. She's a nutcase. She's a freak. She's another Rose West. She's another Maxine Carr. I don't like these kind of people. Sorry. No, not going to be agreeing with any of you. Anyway, you read it, the comments and base your nonsense on it. Okay. Well, I'm not talking nonsense. She was convicted. She's a convicted criminal. The law, the jury found her guilty. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Yes. So don't try and tell me that she is not a murderer. She is a convicted criminal murderer. Please keep up with the game. She hasn't been cleared. She is a criminal. She has been found guilty. She is what she is. She was found guilty of murdering 7 children. She is a murderer. It's like Bernie Ecclestone. Bernie Ecclestone is a convicted criminal fraudster. He was found guilty of a £700 million fraud. He is a fraudster. He is a convicted criminal. And this woman, Letby, is a convicted criminal murderer. She murdered 7 babies and maybe more. But look, you cannot say I am wrong to call her what she is. She is a convicted criminal baby killer. She's a baby slaughterer. She murdered people's children. The law is correct until it's proved otherwise. She has not had a successful appeal, and I don't believe she's anything else other than a convicted criminal, baby, slaughtering, murdering bitch. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
You can say whatever you want. The truth is out there. She was convicted by a jury. Sorry, hard luck. You lost. So shut the fuck up. Seriously, the woman is a convicted murderer. So don't go on at me. How dare all of you? Anyway, you misread our comments. Oh, well, you're entitled to your views. If you want to support her, good. We are like the 2 in Little Britain. Okay, right, okay. Not everything is black and white. Okay, well, I'll have another glass of wine. I don't need to talk to any of you lot anymore about this because, quite frankly, I've debated it with you. I'm not having doubts. No, I'm not having any doubts. There's absolutely no doubts. Lucy Letby is an evil, evil woman. No. I don't see the need to ever have to explain those poor families. Look, I deal with many people who have been victims of crime. You know, out of Ghislaine Maxwell's victims, I speak to 4 out of 5 of her victims. And people say, oh, well, you deserved it. You know, you went there. You just... No, they didn't deserve it. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted of doing what she did to them. And still people say, oh, well, you know, they deserved it. They did not deserve it. And in the case of Lucy Letby's victims, the 7 children's families, they did not deserve to lose their children immediately after they were born. And shame on every single fucking one of you for coming out and saying that, oh, well, you're just having doubts and thinking that, oh, well, she might be innocent. No, Lucy Letby took away the lives of that 7 families' children. Wouldn't you agree? She stole the lives of 7 families' children. Those 7 children could have grown up to be wonderful things. Maybe they would have changed the world. Maybe one of them had become a doctor. Maybe one of them become a historian. Maybe one of them become whatever. This bitch wrote in her book that she did it all. She did horrible things because she was a horrible person. And you come on here and have a pop at me for daring to say that she is sick and she should leave them alone. It's time those families were left to grieve in peace. That is what matters. What is it? What about the poor dead children? Let's think about the real thing here, the dead children. And I know you're going to say, oh, well, if the children were really dead and, you know, the children would want the real story told. Well, the real story has been told. Lucy Letby is a convicted criminal murderer. She's one of the worst serial killers of children ever known to man. She is a disgusting piece of scumbag. Yes? Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
We don't like Lucy Letby. Thank you, Linda Jo. Horrible case, poor families. No, I don't like this. And I'm sorry, she's mentally unstable, says SS Racing. Well done. Somebody else would rather change the topic. I'm sorry, I'm not going to change the topic until we've dealt with this, and I feel satisfactorily dealt with it. Wouldn't I agree?
Yep.
We are not going to cave in to abuse on my channel. I'm not like all these other people out there who have these programs and just do everything because I want to be popular and make as much money as I can. I say whatever I want. And if I offend you, you have the right to leave. You have the right to bog off. I don't care. I really don't. I am myself, me, myself, and I. I don't care what anyone else thinks. And that is why some people come here, I'm sure. Other ones of you just want to have a row with me, which is fair enough. But I am never, ever going to stand for injustice or in truth. And in the case of Jeremy Bamber, I believe Jeremy Bamber to be an innocent man. I am 99% sure Jeremy Bamber is an innocent man, and I want to help him get in his justice. I believe in Omar Benguit. I believe in Mark Alexander. I believe in Luke Mitchell. There are others I can come up with. I'm not going to go on and on. But in the case of Lucy Letby, lock her up for bloody life. If there were an electric chair, she bloody deserves it. She is the worst bitch on the planet. She makes Rose West look civilized. She murdered 7 people's children that we know of. She may have murdered more, but they couldn't deal with that. To take away the lives of 7 innocent children, 7 children who could have grown up to be wonderful people, and she was convicted. She's a convicted criminal murderer. And you people come and have a go at me? Bog off. Shove it up your whatever. I don't want to deal with people like you. You are obviously twisted in the head, because this woman, those families have specifically said, we want to be left in peace now. And she is stirring the pot with the help of Nadine Bloody Dorries and that awful Peter Hitchens and the dreadful Davies man. Awful. Awful. It's time that they were left in peace. Please give peace to those families. I think that is all I shall say. I'm not going to say any more. I don't want to say any more about it. I've had enough of talking about it, because it's just awful how people just come up with such things. Yes, Matt Grant, you're quite right. Can't stand Peter Hitchens. I totally agree with you. I like Christopher very much. Lovely man, but his brother, what a creep. It's not having a go at you, it's called a discussion. Well, you've had your discussion, and I've told you repeatedly it's boring. I don't want to talk about it. I think that I think we've done enough. She hasn't had a fair trial. Well, she did have a fair trial. She was convicted by a jury. The jury decided what they believed, and that is a fair. So you're saying the entire British justice system isn't fair? So every case in Britain isn't fair? There we go. They don't believe
What about the doctors?
No, but this is
I know.
This is not correct.
The doctors have convicted her.
Here we go. Shirley T. Right. I like you, Shirley T. I don't like you. In fact, you always use capital. You're using capital letters, but I think I agree with every point you make. She had a fair trial. She's banged up. End of. Shut the fuck up. Yep. I agree with you. Precisely. Are there any judges in my family? No, well, my family have been involved in justice, yes, in some ways, but I'm not going to go into that right now, because otherwise it'll just open another can of worms in this particular story. Right. Have I ever served on a jury? No. Yes, why would Lucy Letby go on the Facebook sites of the families of deceased babies? That was very weird, along with the written notes, all wrong. Yes, so she went on the families' Facebook sites and pestered them. Why was this woman behaving in this odd fashion? It's not normal behavior. Right. She was very invasive, says Hey Tigers. Yep, totally agree. Right. Anyway, I will move along to another topic, because I don't want to talk about this ghastly Lucy Letby. I didn't intend to talk about it. It wasn't me that brought it up even. She cared for the parents. She went harassing them because she cared for them. I'm sorry, there is a protocol. Nurses are not allowed to start having interactions with patients. That is a very weird thing to do. This is not the way normal doctors and nurses behave. They don't, my sister is a doctor, a surgeon. She does not go around to the houses and, the Facebook pages of her patients, does she? Why would she do that? Why would you go to the pages of your patient? And you wouldn't. Precisely. This woman is a stalker. She's a weirdo. She talks about how her parents took her life away. Oh, she's all right. Oh, whinging moaner. No, the moaning groaner. No. My sister is an eye surgeon and very respected. She would never go around visiting the Facebook pages of her patients, would she? So I'm sorry to bring my sister into it. I'm sorry. I won't name my sister as her own. I shouldn't have done that. No, doesn't work. Complete nonsense. Why would you pester your patients? And they're, in fact, they're dead. The dead families on their Facebook pages. That's bloody freaky. That's weird. She's a weirdo. Being a weirdo doesn't make someone a murderer, says Ross. Okay, she's just nosy or curious, says Ron. Really? She's nosy and or curious. No, that is horrible. She should know that these families were grieving. If their children were dead and it was nothing to do with her, she should leave them alone. Correct?
Yes.
This woman is cuckoo. Are you dumb, you people? Anyway, never mind. Right. Anyway, I shall move along to another topic. I'm really bored of this. I have to say, I'm very disappointed in having to even talk about this. Letby traumatized the nation. That's how we will conclude it. Thank you, Irish Fairy Tarot. Letby traumatized the nation. She did. This bitch is worse than, Rose West in what she did to children. Horrible, horrible, vile. Shirley T says you nailed it 100%. Thank you, Shirley. Anyway, we're moving on to the Menendez brothers. So the Menendez brothers family have blasted the hypocritical LA DA Nathan Hochman to what the New York Post called a crowd of cheering protesters yesterday in Los Angeles outside the LA County Superior Court. I'm very glad that the protesters were there. I'm very sorry I could not be there with the protesters. My friend Robert Rand, who of course is one of the main journalists who ever dealt with the case and visits the Menendez brothers in prison all the time, he is a big advocate for them and was very involved in this. They had a rally outside the court, and outside the court, cousin of Lyle and Eric, and poor Lyle and Eric have been in prison 36 years and totally wrongly in prison. And these are people who deserve to get out, unlike the fucking bitch, Lucy Letby. And I don't care about if I use the F word. I will, because I'm sick of hearing about you, all these comments in the side chat about Lucy Letby and leave me alone about Lucy Letby. I'm bored of you. Lucy Letby needs to be dealt with. She's an awful, awful woman. It's a great shame there isn't an electric chair in Britain because she should be in it. And I will not change my mind on that. A child killer should go. The Menendez brothers are innocent people. Lucy Letby is not. So don't start on me again. Thank you. I thank you for your comments, those of you who are leaving them. But if you don't like my opinions, you have the right to bog off. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Right. We support the Menendez brothers. We want freedom for the Menendez brothers. And I've been campaigning for the Menendez brothers for over 10 years. And I've been harassing Gavin Newsom for 10 years about this. And I'm very glad that Gavin Newsom is starting to listen. So he is now the Gavinator. He's in charge. And I'm hoping he'll be the solution, because I think that is probably the likely way forward. Right. Yes. So you say a jury convicted the Menendez brothers. Yes, the jury did convict the Menendez brothers in the second trial, but the Menendez brothers were victims of abuse. The Menendez brothers should have been found guilty of manslaughter, not murder. They admit that they murdered their parents. They killed their parents. But their parents sexually abused them, both mum and dad. They should have been convicted of manslaughter, and that is exactly what they should have been sentenced for. Look, what happened to them was horrific. The father also abused other people. It's a terrible thing that went on. And they reacted in a way that was incorrect. But they felt they had no other option because the parents had threatened to murder them. So I stand with the Menendez brothers. The Menendez brothers have the support of 61 people who, at the first trial, gave evidence. They weren't allowed to give evidence at the second trial, most of those people. Most of them were their relatives. And yesterday at the rally, one of their cousins, Anna Maria Baralat, said, I can't imagine getting into his mind of Hockman. This is D.A. Nathan Hockman. But it does feel performative. It feels like he's serving an agenda. Cousin also, Tamara Goodall, said, when you look at what is required for rehabilitation, they have met that. They've exceeded that. Hockman wants them to own up to all the lies he claims they've told. Hockman is a complete prat. If they sincerely and unequivocally admit for the first time in over 30 years the full range of their criminal activity and all the lies they've told about it, he has a checklist of 20 fabrications. He doesn't believe the brothers were abused. Cousin Goddell, said of a private meeting with Hockman, it felt like he wasn't listening to us. This is a family member. The family all want them to get out of prison. There's only 2 people in the family who don't want them to get out of prison, and they're after something because they're just horrible people. It was talking with him and more him saying, that's what I want to say. Well, it's time for them, I think, to go direct to Gavin Newsom. And I knew Gavin many, many years ago when Gavin just happened to live in San Francisco, and I was involved with Maurice Kambar of Sky Vodka. And he owned all sorts of bars and restaurants. And then he got involved with that dreadful woman who was involved with Trump, and now she's moved on. But honestly, it's time for clemency. Come on, let's be having it. They are rehabilitated. In prison, they've helped terminally ill prisoners. They've helped all sorts of people. They are well-educated, good people. It's an amazing thing that they've done. They're model prisoners. And, the cousin added, when she was in the house with the horrible parents, there was a strange energy, unlike in her own happy family home. there will be a decision in April on murder down to manslaughter. If the murder goes down to manslaughter, that would be a great thing because they've already served more time for manslaughter than they should have served for manslaughter. So let's hope that happens. And in June, hopefully, there will be a clemency, and that's what they need. And I've been involved in this story for over 10 years, and I think the Menendez brothers, look, let's not be beat about the bush here. They did shoot their parents, but their parents threatened to kill them. They defended themselves. Their parents were monsters. The mother was worse because she said, I would rather you be abused than me. That was her attitude to the abuse. She didn't care about her children. She just thought, let them have it. All she wanted was drugs and alcohol. And that wasn't a very nice way to live. So I know everybody in this situation comes up to me and says, oh, well, they should have shot father, but they shouldn't have shot mother. Well, they were young people and they were scared and they were worried. Right. Anyway, so have you any questions on the topic of the Menendez brothers? I don't want any more questions about Lucy Letby this evening. And if you send any questions, I won't be answering them. So please don't. I'm not prepared to answer any more because this is just out of control. Right. You don't want... I don't need questions on general topics. We're on specific topics now, so I can't answer any more on those. Were there any older siblings? No, there was just two brothers. Russell Brand, I'll come to him. He's my next topic, but... Right. Okay, you don't seem to want to ask any questions. Right. Yep. Okay. Well, it looks like there's not many questions coming in. Looks like I've scared you all off by daring to complain about the other one. What age are the brothers? They're in their 50s, I believe. Did the Menendez brothers report their parents' crimes before plotting and committing their murders? No. They were scared of their parents. They were absolutely terrified. The father was a bully. He'd also raped the Menendez boy. So there you go. When they were convicted, I don't know their exact age. They've been in prison 36 years. Adam, I can answer that question. Letter was recently discovered. Well, Robert Rand discovered many letters about many documents that actually show that they referred to things before the parents' death. So yes. Why haven't they received a pardon? I don't think Donald Trump's interested in them. There we go. I don't know. but they should be given what's called clemency by Governor Newsom, and I hope he does that. I don't know why Violet is saying we are a bunch of bullies. Hello, men? Violet says we're a bunch of bullies.
Who?
Violet. She thinks we're a bunch of bullies.
Who says this?
Someone called Violet.
Me and you?
Yeah, we're bullies.
Oh, what is she?
Well, we just have a view about a topic. So don't you call us a bunch of bullies, whoever you are.
What's going on about this Letby woman?
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, I think you can. You're entitled to your view, but we really don't like it. So take it up your own bottom and take it there. That's where you belong. If you don't like us, bog off. I'm sorry. You are entitled to your view, and I respect a right to an alternative view. But I told you already, I don't want to talk about Lucy Letby anymore. So if you're going to send me more whining and whinging, please go and whine and whinge somewhere else. Wouldn't you agree? We don't want
Kill those babies.
We don't want you whinging and whining in our support. Oh, Violet was supporting us. Oh, well. Well, we don't need whining and whinging, but I don't know if... Have I ever been on Mastermind? No, never been on Mastermind. Not saying I wouldn't... I would be useless. I'd be totally hopeless. I don't know what my specialist topic would be, actually. So there we go. Well, Violet, you said Letby was guilty. Okay. So, Violet, I don't know why you're being bullied, because we're with you, Violet, if you're... So please don't get upset with us, because we're not... I don't know what all these people are saying in the background, because I'm looking at the screen trying to talk. Have the Menendez been married in prison? Yes, they have been married several times between them. Yes. Right. Okay. They have been married in prison. Oh, the posters upset Violet. So no, we apologize to Violet, because Violet is a supporter. We agree with you, Violet. I'm very sorry, Violet. We've got you wrong. You were quite right. Ron M says she wasn't being bullied. Oh, well, I don't know. I have no idea. You're all having an internal row with yourselves. But I'm sorry. Violet thinks Letby is guilty. So we like Violet. Violet, we're very sorry that we're very sorry that you're upset by these people who were horrible to you. Rigsby says she wasn't bullied. I don't know. I don't care about your silly little row. All I care about, I don't want to start up this bloody Lucy fucking Letby again. But for God's sake, think of the families. 7 families with 7 dead children. 7 dead children who could have been 7 wonderful people taken away from the world. And Violet is actually speaking on their behalf. So Violet, well done to Violet. And as for the rest of you, don't pick on Violet. Leave Violet alone. Because I didn't know, I thought Violet was one of the trolls, but unfortunately I don't understand because I can't see all of this. Right. Right. Shirley's cross with Violet. Right. Right. You all
Leave violence alone.
you all want to ask me what happens if there weren't other people who were involved. Anyway, I'm going to get myself a glass of whiskey because I need one. I'm sorry, I have to have
I'm
one.
gonna marry.
Well, you can't have anything because there's nothing left.
You've got gin.
No, it's over. Well, I told you already. Anyway,
What's the time?
I'm going to go and get my. I'll be back. I've got to carry out.
Oh. Oh. Can I go to the bathroom?
You can go to the bathroom.
What you got for me?
Nothing. Finished. I've got to keep going. My program. Right. Anyway, sorry for the delay in my return, but we're going to carry on. So, I think Lady Min needs to go to the bathroom area, but I want to carry on, and I need to go on to the next topic. Well, we haven't even finished Menendez yet. So there we go. We've been interrupted. So
By who? Me.
there we go. We have to carry on. I do apologize for the delay because I think somebody has to be moved to a certain place. I will be back in 1 second.
Where are you going now?
Well, you want to go to the bathroom?
Well, I can go by myself.
Stop interrupting my program.
Oh. Sit down, sit down.
I can't sit down.
Find me something to drink.
There is nothing.
Must be.
We've finished.
Well, I'll have a whiskey and water. Whiskey and Coke.
You can't have whiskey.
Why?
It'll make you sick. I'm trying to do the program.
I'll have a whiskey and Coke.
As you can see, the interrupter wants a whiskey and Coke, so I have to go and make a whiskey and Coke. I will be back shortly. I do apologize, but it's just like dealing with a spoiled child, but it will never cope with it. Hello again. Yes, I'm very, very sorry. Yet again, another interruption to my program. I have always said to her she has to be prepared, and she always claims to be prepared, but she doesn't ever conform. It's not very helpful. So, anyway, back to the Menendez, which is more important. Hockman wants them to own up to their lies. as he calls them. Right. I don't know. Right. Okay. Well, before we go back to Menendez, have I ever run away? Did the Menendez brothers ever run away from home? Yes, they did. Actually, yes. They did run away from home. They tried to leave, and the parents financially ruined them and cut them off and threatened them, and they came back. Yeah. There we go. No, Arnie said, I will be back, not I will return. Right. I don't need right.
What's that got?
So and so is coming back, and I just need to carry on with the program. Please, no noise.
What do I do? I'm going to sit down here.
Yeah, well, just don't make noise. You're ruining the program.
Oh,
Thank you. She's now got a whiskey and Coke, so she can calm herself. I can't do any more than that because that's all we've got for the night.
cheers.
She says cheers to the audience, and I say cheers, and I've got my whiskey and water because that's all I've got, because that's all that's left in the house. There we go. Right. Right. So I'll carry on with our discussion about the Menendez brothers, which is very important. Hockman wants them to own up for all the lies they've told since the 1989 murders, as he puts it, in Beverly Hills. If they sincerely and unequivocally admit for the first time in over 30 years the full range of the criminal activity and all the lies that they've told about it, he has a checklist of the 20 fabrications. He doesn't believe the brothers were abused, inconsistencies. It's ridiculous. I think that, it's time, personally, and I won't go into all the rest of it, it's time for clemency for the Menendez brothers. I think Gavin Newsom as governor should do what is right and give them clemency, because it should be reduced from manslaughter to murder to manslaughter for a starter, but that's not going to take till June. But he could do it earlier. So come on, Gavin Newsom. Gavin, I met you many, 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 many years ago, and I've known you a long time. And I know your sister very well, Hillary. I know Hillary Newsom very well. Lovely lady. And I think it is time that you, as the governator, the successor from the governator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you should put your bloody boots into it, and you should give the Menendez brothers freedom. It is time for the Menendez brothers to be free. They have served their time. They've done their crime. They did their crime. They've served their time. They were abused by mum and dad. They did commit a crime, but they admit they committed the crime, and they have helped so many people in prison. They have been good model prisoners. They are decent citizens of the world. My lighting here is going completely wacky. I don't know what's going on. I'm like a ghost story. Anyway, I think it is time for the Menendez brothers to be free. Don't you agree, Lady Men?
Not sure.
Oh, she's not sure. Well, that's not very helpful of her. Thanks. She's absolutely no use in this matter. That's not very nice of her. So we don't like her on this regard. I'm very disappointed in her. Absolutely appalling. Will they ever inherit anything? No, because all the money's gone. It was all spent on legal fees, so they get zilch. But they should be compensated, I do believe, and I hope Mark Geragos, their wonderful lawyer, is somehow able to secure a package for them. But I don't think that's likely. But they'll find a way of making back their lives. I don't know what they want to do with their lives, but they will find a new way of making their lives. And at least they are free of those evil parents. They were evil people. So there we go. The mother allowed the abuse to spare herself. Yes, precisely. She allowed them to be abused so she didn't have to be. Well, what a nice mother she was. She was so high on her own supply, her pills and her booze. Right. They went on a big spending spree. Well, if something bad happens to you, how do you expect people to react? They did strange things. So what? I don't have a big problem with that. Right. Anyway, I'm not very impressed with some of the comments here, but there we go. Okay. Cult Television has come in from Canada. Hello, Cult Television. You're a bit late. Right. So on to the next topic. My final topic before we have a quiz. And we've got a quiz. Is Russell Brand. Now, this Russell Brand is someone you all know I dislike intensely. Can't stand old Russell. He's got the most grating, horrible voice on the planet, amongst other things. But anyway, Russell Brand is worse than the village idiot. Russell Brand is worse than the village fool. Russell Brand deserves to be beaten with a broomstick. I don't like Russell Brand because he decided to launch an attack on a national treasure, Penelope Keith, the actress, the lovely Penelope Keith. Why on earth would you pick on Penelope Keith? The star of The Good Life. Penelope Keith, the actress, a lady who was in charge of Surrey. She was the Grand Master of Surrey for a year, or whatever you call it. Anyway, she is a lovely lady. You couldn't fault Penelope Keith. But he, in fake news, decided to say that Penelope Keith of The Good Life was responsible for shooting JFK. Penelope Keith. Are you crazy? Well, we know he is. This is an absolute thing. Margot Ledbetter of The Good Life, that was her character in The Good Life, could be JFK's assassin? Really? He actually thought that Penelope Keith was the murderer of JFK. And I've shared it with lots of my friends. Did he go to the grassy knoll? Did she go to the grassy knoll and plan it there? And, this person says, Margot Ledbetter as JFK's assassin's trope is hilarious. But I do think Jerry, her husband, bears some of the blame. He must have known she was up to something. Rob from Derby said on Twitter, Where's Margot going with that sniper rifle? I'm after a book, J.R. Hartley style, Penelope Keith as an assassin, said another. Tweets taking the piss out of Russell Brand, sir, thousands of them. Also a battalion of Penelope Keiths on that grassy knoll. Yes, the grassy knoll was, of course, the famous place. And Brand replied, "Awakened souls," after he deleted his tweet. What a little cowardly custard he is. He is a coward. What a prat. He sounds like a joke, says many of you. Right. It was like Compo from Last of Summer Wine. Was Brand born in a barn? He was born in a ditch, in my view, Ross. So Russell Brand has run out of options. He's turned to God. It's a good way of distracting from the actual lack of data released. Well, I honestly say, what a disgrace this man is. Picking on Penelope Keith, a national treasure. It's not a nice thing to do. You don't do that to a nice old lady. Horrible. What's Grassy Knoll? The Grassy Knoll was where the alleged second shooter was located in the JFK murder. So, anyway, I haven't met Katy Perry, his ex-wife. No, I've never met any of them, but that's got nothing to do with the Grassy Knoll and Russell Brand, so I don't know. He had a gin and tonic and rifle. Okay. Right. Okay. So Brand replied, "Awakened souls. I embraced Penelope Keith as JFK's shooter." He deleted this ultimately because the elites mock truth with satire. MI6, BBC, lizard overlords, they gaslight us. I'm no fool, just too cosmic for their matrix lies. Seek the signal mate. Russell Brand. Now, remember who Russell Brand is. Russell Brand is a man who had a horrible incident of racism on radio with Jonathan Ross. Disgusting, hideous abuse of a young lady, and it was disgusting. Jewish hatred, appalling. I highlighted Russell Brand's dog, another person who had a dog out of control. His dog murdered a wallaby in Henley-on-Thames. There was a wallaby, and his dog savaged the poor thing to death. And, the Sun said he was a hero at the time because he saved the mother of the wallaby from being murdered. No. He should never have allowed his dog to murder the beautiful wallaby. I am an animal rights campaigner in this regard for beautiful, innocent animals. He should have never have allowed his dog near that bloody wallaby in the first place. His horrible dog is out of control and disgusting like him. Then he bought a pub, as people like him do. So he bought a pub near Henley-on-Thames. I don't know where exactly it is, but it's somewhere near Henley. What did he do? He closed it down. So he ruined a community pub. Mr. Brand is just a horrible, horrible man who ruins things. He's not amusing. He's filthy. He's scum. Anyway. Carrying on. Otto English, the author of Fake History, a great book about fake stories, said, "This is your occasional reminder that Penelope Keith is nothing but a national treasure." Don't we agree? Penelope Keith, national treasure. And that Russell Brand is a global embarrassment. Shame on Russell Brand. And Otto English summed up the whole story. So the Mail on Sunday's Dan Hodges added, nothing will epitomize our age more perfectly than Russell Brand promoting the conspiracy theory Penelope Keith was responsible for the assassination of JFK. He then deleted his post. He can't even own his own mistakes. He can't even say sorry for saying this about the lovely Penelope Keith. Leave Penelope Keith alone. He is a coward. What next? Joanna Lumley? Joan Hickson? Percy Thrower? Brian Blessed? Who are you going to blame next, you stupid little wazzock? You are a prat and a pillock, you stupid little man. And you're awful and you need a haircut. Go and get yourself a haircut and get rid of that bloody dog, the wallaby killer, that horrible dog. Because the horrible dogs like you. But they do say dogs are like their owners. You say a dog looks like its owner. And in your case, that dog looks like you. Disgusting. You're a revolting, horrible man, Russell Brand. And you're horrible. How dare you attack a national treasure of this First Order? She is a lovely lady, Penelope Keith. The Good Life, a lovely program that gave joy to so many, and you ruin and attack her and say that she killed JFK. It's not a nice thing to do to an old lady, is it? Shame on you. You're a piece of filth. You're a piece of scum. I think you should be thrown on the By Stockholm. I haven't talked about the By Stockholm in a while, but I want a few people on the By Stockholm. And the first one to be on the By Stockholm now again. Now I'm going to start it again. Today's victim is Russell Brand. Lots of other people are accused of shooting, what's his name? I won't go into that story today, but I want today to remind you all that I think it's time to put Russell Brand as our first new victim. We're going to revive the By Stockholm, and I'm going to keep notes on who I'm going to put on it. So, right, here we go. Right, number one. So today we're putting, and I'd like your suggestions for the By Stockholm, the horrible boat, but I'm putting Russell Brand is the first person on board. And the second I'm going to do, because I'm going to choose 5 whilst we're live, I'm going to put Richard Madeley.
Oh.
He goes straight aboard. We definitely want him. He goes aboard straight away. And the dreadful Judy can go aboard too. So there we go. Easy peasy. I'm just doing this completely off the cuff. I have no decision of my mind. I'm just thinking I'm going to choose, maybe I'll choose 10. Right. I'm going to choose Michael Barrymore. He can go aboard. Yes. I'm not going to, actually, I'm not going to look at the screen because you are trying to influence me. I'm going to choose, you can choose, tomorrow you can all choose 10. You can all, we'll allow another 10 tomorrow, but I'm going to choose the first lot. So I've got Barrymore. Bernie Eccleston obviously has to go aboard. Right. Lucy Letby will go aboard. And we're going to sink the boat, by the way. Right. Right. The next one to go aboard. My choice. This is my choice today. So I'll do. Who do I really dislike? Cliff Richard obviously goes aboard. And the next one to go aboard will be gosh, let me think. Russell Brand, Richard Madeley, Judy Finnegan. Let me think who else goes on the boat. I'm going to think. Tamara, no, Philip Schofield, no, I'm not that excited by him. Let's think. Well, Scylla doesn't need to go aboard because she's dead. I'm not going. The only people who can go aboard are the living. If Scylla were alive, most definitely Scylla would be well up there. And not Meghan Markle because she's not that exciting. Vanessa Phelps, no. Right, I'm nearly there. I've got to think of 3 more. Lizzie Cundy, she's not really worth the effort. Lizzie, you want me on the boat? Okay, well, there we go. I'm sure you're a great fan of mine. Thank you, Sean Dillon, whoever you are. I'm glad you don't like me, but, so what? I'm not really that bothered. Do I look bothered, as they say? Right, I've got to think of Hillary Clinton. Well, Ghislaine can go on the boat, I suppose. Yeah, she's still alive. Ghislaine can go on the boat. I've got to choose 2 more. And then tomorrow, you're going to choose the rest. And by the time we get to 100, we can produce a list. The horror that tried to strangle me, Sam Palmer. No, I'm not that bothered about him. He's just a wimp. David Starkey, nah, he's not that worth bothering with. Elon Musk, no. Rod Stewart, no. Cliff Richard, definitely. David Jason, he hasn't offended me, but I know that many people are. I suppose we could put Ampika. No, I suppose not. Gloria could go on the no. Ron Swanson, that's not very nice. He's not harmed me in any way. He's always very polite to me, Ron Swanson. So no. Andrew Tate. Well, oh yes, Timmy Mallet. He did upset me as a child. Yes. No, I did have a row with him, and Granny Howard dealt with him. Granny Howard gave him a right old telling off. Prince Andrew, yes, he can go on it. Prince Andrew. So my 10, you've made me write it. That's my starting point. My 10 starting points for your list are Russell Brand, Richard Madeley, Judy Finnegan, Michael Barrymore, Bernie Eccleston, Lucy Letby, Cliff Richard, Ghislaine Maxwell, Timmy Mallet, and Prince Andrew. There you go. I've given 10. That's the first 10 to go on the boat. So we're going to make a list of who's going on the boat. The boat takes 400, so we've got plenty of time. Tomorrow, you can choose 10. I've chosen the first 10. My first 10, and then I'll add to the 10. Yes?
Yes.
And we definitely want Lucy Letby amongst them because, she might murder a few of them. Bernie Eccleston, well, he'll just steal from everybody. Richard Madeley, he'll just terrify and bore everybody. Prince Andrew, well, he just wants all their teddy bears. Ghislaine, well, she just wants all their vegan meals if she can get hold of them. Michael Barrymore, well, keep him well away from the swimming pool. Russell Brand, well, don't allow him to have a dog. Awful people. So, right next. Right. Okay, you want a quiz? Is anyone here ready to do a quiz? Right. Well, we've started the process of the new story, which is, having the 400 for the boat. And one day we'll get to 400. So, is anyone ready for the quiz? Oh, well, Heather Mills. Yes, well, we'll come to her later. She's not a favorite of mine. No. Right. Who can help me with a quiz? Because I will take notes, but I'm wanting to have assistance. Right. You're ready and waiting. Simon Coates will tally. Okay. Thank you, Simon. I'll try to do it myself also, but if you can help Simon Coates, that's very kind of you. Who was, question number one, Bob Ollinger the last victim of? Bob Ollinger. Who was Bob Ollinger the last victim of? And Bob Ollinger was a famous racehorse also, but it's nothing to do with Bob Ollinger, the person. It's not the hangman. It wasn't Nicholas Sturgeon. It wasn't Dr. Shipman. Rigsby is the winner. Well done to Rigsby. You get 1 point. Rigsby, of course, Bob Ollinger was the victim on the 28th of April, 1881, the last victim of Billy the Kid. And the horse that won the same at Cheltenham on last week at 11-1, which brought my friend Max some good winnings, of course, was named Bob Ollinger. So good old Bob Ollinger comes back to life. We love Bob Ollinger, don't we? We love Bob Ollinger, the horse. But he was the last victim of Billy the Kid. Not a nice thing for him, but there we go. Okay. In which prison was the American Dr. Hawley Harvey Crippen hanged in on the 23rd of November 1910? Which British prison was he hanged in? It was not Alcatraz. It wasn't Strange. It wasn't Strangeways. It wasn't Folsom. It was a British prison, so it wasn't Wormwood Scrubs. Ange B, you don't spell it correctly, Ange B. I don't know whether I'm going to allow this in the future. I think it's got to be correct spelling, but on this occasion, I will allow you to have the point. Of course, it was Pentonville, but I think in future, I keep saying this, I think you all ought to learn to spell. If you're not going to spell correctly, I won't accept the answer. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
I think we now have to have correct spelling because it's not fair to other people who then sends answers later. So correct spelling will have to be, because, for example, Kathy Dando, who comes in later, spells it correctly. Right. Anyway, we will allow Ange B the point on this one occasion, but we won't be allowing it again. Dr. Crippen was the first criminal to be captured with the aid of wireless telegraphy during transatlantic arrest, and he had his cross-dressing associate. Wasn't that an interesting thing? Okay, which film was made at Rotham Park in Hertfordshire? Which is the most famous film made at Rotham Park in Hertfordshire? It was also the location for Ashley Cole and Cheryl Cole's wedding blessing, because they couldn't get married because it doesn't have a license to do weddings. It was in Bridgerton, The Diplomat, The Line of Beauty, and Inspector Morse. But which was the most famous film? Linda Jo gets the answer but doesn't spell it correctly. So you're also breaching the rules. It was Gosford Park, not Gosforth. So, but we will allow you on this one occasion. But on the next occasion that we do a quiz, any incorrect spelling is ignored. We will not be having incorrect spelling. Right. Who is the property developer Eduardo Mapelli Mozzi married to? Which person is he married to? Eduardo Mapelli Mozzi. Miss Marple is the immediate winner with Princess Beatrice. An easy question. See, you wanted easy questions. I gave you easy questions. Right. Just stupid questions about stupid people. Boring questions, in my view. In which region only can champagne be made? In which region can champagne only be made?
You've just been there.
Claire Louise gets the point. Of course, the answer is Champagne. You can only make champagne in Champagne. So there you go. You want easy questions? I give you easy questions. What is the nickname of the music mogul, alleged sex trafficker Sean Combs? What is he known as? What is his nickname? He's not called Pinot Grigio. I will accept P. Diddy, so SS Racing gets the point. He could be called Diddy or he could be called P. Diddy. What is Casa Urina in Miami also known as? What is Casa Urina in Miami also known as? What is the name of this particular building? It's not Casino Casa. It's not SeaWorld. It's not Mar-a-Lago, no. Oh, this is a very easy question. But none of you seem to know. It's not Waterworld. It's not the Miami Stadium. Casa Urina. What is it known as? It's not the White House. Okay, 0 points awarded. 0 points. It is 116 Ocean Drive, Miami. Of course, it's the location of the 15th of July, 1997 murder of Gianni Versace by Andrew Cunanan. There's now a restaurant there called Gianni's. It's a boutique hotel. It's the Villa Casuarina. Anyway, none of you got it. So there you go. Absolutely useless. So you fail on that question. So that's 9. So now we're down to 19. So out of 19, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you have got points. Right. What was the profession of Albert Pierpoint? What was his profession? Again, if you don't know this question, you're an absolute village idiot. Cad gets it straight away. Cad, you've got a point. It was hangman, yes, of course. As were his father and his uncle. He hanged John Christie, Ruth Ellis, Lord Haw, Timothy Evans, John Haig, many other people. What does Hornby Hobbies Limited produce? What do they make? What do Hornby make? Miss Marple gets a second point. You go into the lead, Miss Marple. You get 2 points. They make model trains. You called it just trains, but they started off in 1901 in Liverpool, and then they relocated to Margate next to Broadstairs in Kent, bizarrely. What type of power stations operate at Heysham in Lancashire? What type of power stations? What are the power stations? Miss Marple gets a third point straight away. It's a nuclear power station. Okay. These are really easy questions. I'm sorry. You're really, I'm giving you right rubbish. Where was the merchant and explorer Marco Polo born in 1254? Where was Marco Polo born? Which city was Marco Polo born in? It was not Italy. Italy is not a city, and Spain is not a city. It wasn't Essex. It wasn't Peckham. Eva Angel gets the point. Eva Angel. It was Venice. I don't know why people don't answer the question correctly. Very strange. He was not born in Watford or Lisbon or Mrs. Polo's house. What sport? And this is another silly, boring question. I don't like doing these boring questions, but I was told I had to try. This is really boring to me. Which sport is Tom Daly associated with? Tom Daly. He's into knitting. He likes doing a bit of knitting. Right. Miss Marple gets the point again. Miss Marple is well in the lead with 4 points, is diving. I could have accepted swimming. In which year was the Daily Mail founded by Alfred Harmsworth, Viscount Harmsworth? Which year was it founded? It was not 1921 or 1902. It wasn't 1867. It wasn't 1880 or 1872. It wasn't 1066. No, it wasn't 1690, that's for sure. Right. None of you are really good at answering this one. Right. Another question will strike off. So now you're down to 8 out of 18. Fine. The answer was 1896, but we didn't get a correct answer. So now we're down to 8. You're out of 18 questions. Which dictators was Lord Rothermere, the founder of the Daily Mail, friends with in the 1920s and 1930s? I can give you two. Yeah, I'll accept 2 options. Miss Marple goes Mussolini. Okay, Miss Marple, you get the point. That takes you to 5. Of course, he was friends with Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler. So there you go. You are well in the lead now. Right. In what year was Stephen Lawrence murdered in Eltham on the 22nd of April. What year was poor Stephen Lawrence murdered? Ross gets it with 1993. Yes, Ross, you get a point. And of course, today, David Norris has admitted that he was involved in the attack upon Stephen Lawrence, but that wasn't when I wrote this quiz, actually. Weird. Okay. What subject did the blog Gorka focus upon? What was Gorka about? Gorka. It doesn't exist anymore, but what did Gorka? It wasn't maths, it wasn't golf, it wasn't Strictly Come Dancing. I can accept gossip. Claire Louise, you get a second point. You go into second. Claire Louise, you are in second place. It was celebrities, media, and fame, but the word gossip is close enough, so I accept that. Right. Okay. Which business did Peter Thiel co-found in December 1998? He was also PayPal, first investor in Facebook, German, born gay, Founders Fund, Palantir Technologies, grew up in Republican South African Namibia. Anyway, what did he co-found in 1998? TMTB has it with PayPal. Right. Okay. What ring name is Terry Bollea known by? Terry Bollea. His ring name. It's not Tony. It's not Terry the Tyrant. Terry Bollea. It's not the Slayer. Cult TV gets it. Cult TV, you get a point. Of course, it's Hulk Hogan. Which cult is Tom Cruise associated with is your final question. Which cult is Tom Cruise associated with? Eva Angel gets the point. So Eva Angel gets a second point. It is Scientology, Ron Hubbard, business, religion, scam, creepy. So there we go. So, in my analysis, Miss Marple is the winner. Hello, Lady Men.
Yeah.
Miss Marple gets 5 out of 19.
Wow.
Claire Louise gets a close second with 2, and Eva Angel gets a close second with 2. And then we have a few people with 1, but well done. But well done to Miss Marple.
She did better than last night.
Well, 5 out of 19 is not too bad. Out of 18. I think she did very well. But the winner chicken dinner on this occasion is Miss Marple. So thank you for that. So shall we return to our questions? So have you any more questions for me? That would be nice. If you have any more questions, it would be absolutely lovely to have the questions. So, Anybody out there? Or if not, what do I think about assisted dying? I don't like the idea of it. I think it's a horrible concept. Awful. It's open to too many avenues of exploitation. Not something I support. No. Do I worry about my liver? Not really. My father's a very good age and he's doing rather well and he drinks a lot. My grandfather lived to a good age and didn't worry about that. Plenty of other things I worry about, but not that. You have suspicions about Gloria Hunniford. She's an absolutely awful woman who associates with Cliff Richard. There you go. I won't say any more. Don't need to say any more. Have I seen Cher impersonate Elvis? I haven't, no, but I like Cher. She was great company on the one occasion I met her. Lovely lady. Absolute class act. Fabulous. Wonderful. Do you think a majority of Americans will turn against Trump? For the moment, I think Trump is rocketing up there. He's doing very well with Americans. I'm not saying what he's doing is entirely right. The man is a bit of a crazy, but he is a disruptor, and the world needs disruption, and we need disruption in Britain against Starmer right now. Starmer is the farmer harmer, and I hate people who hurt farmers. So we need to put a stop to Starmer farmer harmer. We have to get rid of him, but we can't. But if we get rid of him, we get raving Rayner, and that's what worries me more. So I'm, the farming people, I'm with them. But if we get rid of Starmer, we get raving Rayner. They've got a majority of 170. There's no reason they need to have an election. They can just change the leader. But so in a way, it doesn't really work. There we go. What do I think about Jill Dando? Absolutely tragic. The poor lady was not a bad person, and I don't think she'll ever get justice. But it's rather like my mother's friend, and who was shot with a crossbow, and horrible things happened in that area in that time. I don't know, something weird about all that went on there. I won't go into that story again tonight because it's another thing. Did I play sport at school? Yes, I used to do rowing. I was forced to do cross country because I was allegedly very good at it, but I hated it. So I used to cheat and run away so I could get banned. I like shooting. I like fishing. I like, lots of things. You want justice for Jill Dando. I totally agree. But Jill Dando, I just don't know. I have I spoke recently with the sister of Barry George, who was convicted and then cleared of the murder of Jill Dando. And I found her to be quite a reasonable lady. Other people have sent me messages saying, the whole thing is odd. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But my family's friend who was killed in a very similar fashion in a very similar area of London. I don't want to talk about it tonight because I'll just get emotional. It's not a good idea. There's something weird about what went on with all of those kind of killings of that type in that area at that time in the late 1980s, early 1990s. Something does not quite make sense. That's all I shall say for now. But we can talk about it again. I've already done a program. You can watch my program on the internet, kindly made by my friend who comes on here called Cult TV. He kindly made the program. So if you want to listen to the story, I think that's quite enough for tonight on that. Right. When did I start the Steeple Times? 2012. We launched at Blake's Hotel. We had an amazing party. Everybody came to the party. Wonderful evening. They closed Blake's Hotel and gave me a party, which was a very kind thing of them to do. So we had a wonderful evening. Yes, we launched Steeple Times. Miss Marple says, you've done my family tree and you found out that William Steeples was born in 1583. Well, I don't know anything about William Steeples, who was born in 1583, but that's very kind of you to find it out. That's very impressive. What other things do I worry about? I don't know. What would you want me to worry about? I don't know. Did I run a student newspaper? Not that I'm aware of. No. I don't know where that question comes from. What famous people went to your launch party? Well, I had the wonderful man who sang a song at my launch party. I'm trying to remember his name. He sang We Are the Brits, Anton Lorien. There you go. We had a special song for the party. We Are the Brits. Everybody loves this song, so go on Google and look up We Are the Brits by Anton Lorien. Everybody loves the video. It's wonderful pictures of the Queen, because, of course, it was the year of her Diamond Jubilee. And we love We Are the Brits, don't we, men?
What, Dolly?
We love We Are the Brits.
Yeah.
The song by Anton Lorien that was sung at my launch party of the Steeple Times. Yes. What was Anthea Turner present? No, I didn't invite. I would not be inviting Anthea Turner to the opening of an envelope. Not that she would attend, because she'd be too busy with her boyfriend who bites policemen's noses. Have I met Hugh Grant? Yes, I've met Hugh Grant on occasions. Not my friend, but he's not my enemy. I'll leave it at that. What do my parents do for a living? Well, my mother is an academic, and my father, well, he was involved in all sorts of different things. So we'll leave it at that. That's none of your business. There we are. Right. The Steeple Times is a great name. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Right. Okay. If you had to spend 1 hour stuck in a lift with either Nigel Havers or Nigel Farage, which Nigel? I think it would be Nigel Havers, of course, but I can't really confide in what I have to say about the one I chose, because it would be potentially libelous. Right. Did I ever have an inspirational teacher at school? Well, my school teacher often comes on here. My French teacher from school. So I better say him. because he's paying attention. He may be listening right now. Mr. Gorse, yes, and Chili Karen gets it straight away. Mr. Gorse. We have to be nice to Mr. Gorse, so of course, yes, it's Mr. Gorse. Can we get Ken Masters from Howard's Way on the show to talk about jewelry? I don't know why he'd want to talk about jewelry. Is that what he does now? I don't know. It's a very strange thing. It's this torrential rain here in Saint-Tropez. We are going to be drowned shortly. This is what seems to happen to us. He liked bracelets. Anyway, we are being drowned in rain.
And the wind. And the mistral.
How was your phone call with Christine Hamilton? Well, Christine is a lovely lady, and she's very, very kind, and what a nice lady. That's all I shall say. You're getting a wet weekend in the UK. It's cold in Aberdeen. Is Gogglebox still on the cards? Probably not, no, because nobody could be paired up with me. Where are you going for dinner? Well, it's a bit late for dinner. We've been out for lunch. But no, we're not going anywhere exotic tomorrow, I don't think. Because this weather is not suitable. Do I use Chat GPT? I don't know what Chat GPT is, so I can't answer. Have I met Roger Allam? I don't know who Roger Allam is. Sorry, I do find some of these questions a little bit random. Did I like Dale Winton? No, I never met Dale Winton. Right. I think Dale Winton was friends with all of those awful people I don't like, so probably not. What did I think about Rupert Murdoch? Rupert Murdoch, I had a cup of tea with once. He was very polite. He just wanted to know what I was up to. He couldn't understand why I was writing what I was writing. So he said, please come round. And I went and visited, and that was that. Nothing more to it and nothing less. Very odd. But I didn't mind him. Am I a member of a union? No, I'm not a member of a union. Do I think dogs should be allowed in restaurants? I think most dogs are better behaved than customers. Do I remember the Dahlia Obama case? No, I don't know the Dahlia Obama case. Sorry, all these things coming in all sorts of random order. Roger Allen was Inspector Thursday on Endeavour. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, you mean Inspector Morse? You said you were coming to Scotland. Yes, I will be coming to Scotland. I definitely will. I love Scotland. I'd want to spend some time there. Roger Allen, if he was in Endeavour, so this was the sequel to Inspector Morse. I don't think I really watched the sequel things very well, so I'm not an expert. Sorry, I've got probably the wrong thing. Right. Any more questions? Otherwise, I shall end this because we've now nearly reached 3 hours. It's now time for me to go to bed. It's nearly 11 o'clock at night. So here, I know it's only 10 o'clock at night in England, but probably time to end this unless we have further questions. If I had a racehorse, what would I call it? A racehorse. I don't know. Can't think of a name for a racehorse immediately. Let me have to think about that. That's one I can't think of amazingly quickly. Did I ever meet Kylie Minogue? Of course I met Kylie Minogue. She's a lovely lady, an absolute gem and a treasure from Blake's Hotel, and her lovely parents. Absolutely fabulous people. And I won't go into the other parts of the story, but Kylie is a lovely, the pint-sized pop star, simply the best. Love her, fabulous. There we go. My favorite card game. Don't know. But I quite enjoy playing that thing called Top Trumps with when a certain lady from Canada was stranded in a house in London, and I had to sit with her of an evening. She got me into this game called Top Trumps. It was quite fun. Quite enjoyed that. It was easy peasy. But I like Scrabble, of course. Scrabble is the best game on the planet. Anyone with a brain would play Scrabble. Nothing else. Monopoly, okay, that's quite nice. But Scrabble is the number one game. Always. Right. Scrabble is great. Yes. Well, quite correct. No, I'm not married to anybody. No, I'm not married to anybody. No. So I think you're a bit confused. Right. You like backgammon. I like backgammon. Not a bad game, but I prefer Scrabble. Scrabble is the game of choice for me because I love words. You bet I miss Broadstairs Folk Week. Not really. No, I didn't really care for all that silly music, but I miss the people. I do miss the people. The people were fabulous, but no, I wasn't into the silly music. No, not my kind of thing. Right. Anyway, which figure would you least trust? Okay. Who would I least trust? I don't know. Can't think of the answer to that. I'll think about that. Wordle. No, I'm not really into that. Do you keep in touch with the Welsh painter? Oh, you mean Winford? We love our Winford. Yes, of course. I keep in touch with Winford. Absolutely fabulous man. Have I ever played Scrabble against Giles Brandreth? No, never played against him, but of course he's chairman of the World Scrabble Championships. I don't think I'd do very well against him. I've got his book sitting right in front of me here. Have You Eaten Grandma? Wouldn't you agree? It's a great book.
I only read the first page.
Oh, she only read the first page. Why do I dislike Cilla Black? Because she's an apologist for the horrible Cliff Richard. What is my relationships with? No, well, we won't be going there. What is my morning routine? Well, I have a cup of Yorkshire tea and I water the garden currently. That's what I do. I begin by watering the garden whilst having a cup of Yorkshire tea. That's what I have to do. But I don't think I'll be needing to water the garden tomorrow morning because the garden is now very wet. Would I like to have children? Probably not, no. I really don't think more of me would be a very good thing for the world. Right. Have I ever written a headline just to wind someone up? Yes, of course I have. I don't mind winding people up. No problem with that. Are you okay on driving on the other side of the road? Well, I've driven on the other side of the road in America and I'm driving an English car in France, that is a bit weird, to be frank. So it's just like driving in America, to be honest. Have I ever looked after other people's children? Yes, I have. I have godchildren myself, and they're very nice godchildren, and how nice. Amber Heard. I don't want to talk about her. She's horrible. And I don't know why we're even talking about her bed wetting activities. That's a very strange thing to talk about. But thank you, Simon, for participating. What's my favorite American state, city, or town? Well, of course, it's San Francisco. Absolutely love it there. I love Pacific Heights. So there you go. Right. Do I get scared of heights? Not really. No. There we go. Not scared of heights. No. Hong Kong or Singapore? Well, I've never been to Hong Kong, but I have been to Singapore, so I suppose it has to be Singapore, doesn't it? You want me to wear some flowers in my hair? Well, obviously that's about San Francisco. Have I watched Dirty Harry? I can't think I have. No. Did I watch Ironside or Streets of San Francisco? Neither. No. I've watched lots of Hitchcock films which are based in San Francisco. I've watched all sorts of things, but not those two. Have I watched Monk? Can't say I have. I've never watched Starsky and Hutch. No. Gosh, it's like quick fire questions. This is boom, boom, boom. Anyway, it's soon going to be time for me to go to bed. We're at 3 hours and 5 minutes. I really do need Kodak. No, I have come across it. I've come across all of these, but I've never really watched them. If you were to write your own Debret style entry, what would it say under interests? Gin, mini cheddars, and what else do I really like? Gosh.
Chocolate.
No, not chocolate. That's not a helpful answer. Gosh. Right. I don't know. Just the first two things. There you go. You got it in the first two things. That would be enough. Favorite Brit out of Cecil Rhodes or Isambard Kingdom Brunel? I can't say I particularly liked either of them, but I think they were both very big achievers. But I think 50-50 in their case. What do I think of haggis? Oh, I love haggis. Delightful. Wonderful. I'd love haggis. I love it. Have I dined at the Stinking Rose Garlic restaurant in San Francisco? Can't say I have. Have I played craps in Vegas? No, I haven't. No. Right. No, I've never been to Vegas, so I can't say I've played anything there. Did I read the Eric Ambler spy novels? No, didn't read them. Two-legged haggis or four-legged haggis? Well, whatever legged haggis, I like a bit of haggis. Skywatch says Yorkshire tea is the best. I totally agree with you. My favourite childhood books, well, being connected to him, of course, it has to be Arthur Ransom's Swallows and Amazons, which I loved. And I also loved Enid Blyton and things like that. Yes, so there we go. Have I read The Thursday Murder Club? I've read that, yes. Very well written, very well done by him. Not my favorite book on the planet, but you know, I don't have a favorite book. It was okay. It wasn't really. It didn't excite me as much as the world seemed to be excited by it. Have I tips for the Grand National? Not yet, no. But I believe it's a much smaller field, and I think people are very concerned that the Grand National is going downhill. I've read a lot about what's going on with the Grand National, and it will not be quite the race this year that people wanted from what I'm reading of it. But people always complain, so it's probably not as bad as they expect. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Right. If I had to lose 2 limbs or your memory, which would you go for? That's a very strange thing. Well, I'd lose the 2 limbs because I'd rather keep my memory. What a strange question. Hey Tiggers would lose the memory. I'd go the other way. Pitfield asks Secret 7 on Famous 5. Well, there we go. I'd take the Famous 5. Have I met Steve Coogan? Yes, I have met Steve Coogan because he was in a film called Coffee and Cigarettes, and it was a collection of short films. And there was a man called Iggy Pop and the RZA, and he was in it, and Kate Blanchett, and it was made by Jim Jarmusch. And there was a party in San Francisco at the film festival to celebrate it. And Mr. Kambar did not want to stay for the premiere, so I had to deal with it. And Barbara Minto came along, and it was in the beautiful Opera House in San Francisco, and we had a wonderful evening. And yes, Mr. Coogan was one of the people in the film. And Coffee and Cigarettes is a film I recommend to you all. It's, I think it's 10 or 11 short films, literally a couple of minutes of people having coffee and cigarettes and talking about something. And some of them are real and some of them are a bit made up. But Steve Coogan, of course, was one of the people in it. So watch Coffee and Cigarettes. Then you'll experience Steve Coogan. That's the only time I ever met him. I met him very, very briefly. I spent more of the time in the evening with the RZA, who, of course, was a rapper, and he taught Barbara Minto how to rap. And Barbara Minto is an amazing lady who was one of the first ladies to go to Harvard Business School, first woman to work for McKinsey, and she got taught how to rap, and we became friends and had dinner at the Carlton Tower in London subsequently. I didn't get to know Mr. Steve Coogan on that level, but I got to know the rappers, so everyone was very impressed amongst my friendship group because I was quite young at the time. I was 19, 20 years old when I met them. So I didn't have a clue who the Wu-Tang Clan were, but I got to meet the RZA. And I love the RZA. It'd be nice to see him again, but I haven't seen him in a few years. Don't know what he's doing now, but yeah, he was in the film Coffee and Cigarettes, and Kate Blanchett, she was an absolute delight. All of them were. I met some lovely people that evening, and it was in a beautiful opera house, and we had a lovely party, and everybody had a good time. So cheers to everybody who came that evening. And, always remember the good times. And I'm very lucky that I get to experience wonderful things and spend time with good people and achievers, people who achieve in life and actually get up in the morning and think of doing something. Like I started, with my petition, and thank you to you all. I'd like to thank you all for supporting my petition. It's very kind of you, but we need more of you. So come on, share it. And not enough of you on this channel have shared it. We get more from Facebook than we do from this. So why am I getting more people from Facebook than from this? So come on, you're watching on here, if you haven't signed our petition to help the sloth, shame on you. I want you to support the sloth. Don't you agree?
Yes.
We need the sloth to be supported. So if you're watching, it doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is go on there and sign. Press the button, type in your name. It will take you 2 minutes of your life, maximum. Come on, man up, grow up, and show up. Yes, the sloth petition is moving along slowly. Yes, because sloths do move slowly, Simon. Yes, but we need it to move a little quicker. Right, so we need you to sign up. Have I ever met Twiggy? I did meet her on occasion. I don't know her very well. No, I don't know much about her, but I've met her, but I can't say much. Who are the ladies who interviewed me at the launch of the Steeple Times? Well, one of them is a very good friend of mine, Claire Rubenstein. She's still a great friend of mine. We love Claire. Absolutely lovely lady. The other one, I'm not going to go on about, but there we go. So, but Claire was the lady who did all the TV stuff, and Claire has been a great support in my life for many, many years, and she's fabulous, absolutely wonderful. Right, you shared it at work today. Thank you, Bess. That's very kind. Please, can you tell all your friends to share it at work? That would be very nice. Other people, but that's nice. Well, we appreciate all the support for this petition, but it's not about me. It's about the sloth. Save the sloth. So let's get the sloth treated in the same way as I did with Marilyse van der Meer, and let's get the sloth brought into the attention of Keir Starmer, because that's what I want. Do I have a suitable place for the sloth to go to? Well, as I said, Keir Starmer needs to stop them being pets. Ban them from being pets. That's what matters. That's all that matters. Anyway, I think it's time probably of 3 hours and 16 minutes. Bess says save the sloth. Thank you. It's time for me to say thank you to you all. You've been wonderful. Good night and good gardening. I don't think I can say much more because it's time for me to go to sleep. I'm tired and exhausted after a very long day of driving around and doing all sorts of things which were interesting. Right. There we go. So I thank you all and I say good night and good gardening and thank you to you all. Take care. Good night. Pip pip.